Everything's better with Warpstone. RuinusInsight here, welcoming you to part 1 of a brand new modded Total Warhammer 3 Old World campaign. SFO Grimhammer 3 Skaven. Chosen by community vote, Throt the Unclean is the rat of the hour, and I imagine Moulder's growth lab mechanic is gonna get him some pretty unique army compositions. Plus, this being an Old World run, we're actually going to make use of Undercities, which I find not a particularly useful ability in the Immortal Empires. But anyway, a couple things before we start. This campaign is actually being run on an upcoming version of SFO that isn't out yet, and big thanks to Venrus for the early access. Among other things, it's a rather Skaven-centric update, and the update reworks the Skaven tech tree, which I guess I'll show off in-game. It's pretty neat. Anyway, it's still a work in progress, guys, so do keep that in mind. As for other mods, mod info is in the description below, as usual. Plug-wise, check out our Discord and join the Ruinous host. We got a nice little community going. Consider joining the channel or becoming a Patreon to get access to perks like exclusive votes, or support the channel by purchasing games through our affiliates in the description below. A big shout out to the modders, and as always, the biggest of shout outs to you guys for your comments and support. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the faction and see how SFO changes it. So faction-wise, Throt has access to the Flesh Labs, which is Moulder's main gimmick that allows for unit mutation and those diverse army compositions and unit roles. Naturally, it makes sense that Moulder can thus build any Moulder-related buildings like labs and monster buildings considerably cheaper. Otherwise, Throt's rats are immune to mountain attrition, and his minion characters have more HP, and that includes, of course, his legendary hero, the spin-to-win master Gorich. For Throt himself, he is obviously the monster lord, so Skaven monstrosities are cheaper to field and do get a bonus of 10 armor in his own army. 10 may not seem like much, I will admit, but the Flesh Labs can mutate you more, and then you've got skills, and every little bit counts until you got some pretty darn heavily armored monstrosities. Otherwise, Throt has regeneration for himself and the ability to summon rat ogres on the field, as well as a nice little passive that offers bonus physical resist and leadership, which is actually useful for Skaven, unlike most factions, especially in the early game. That's it for Throt. For the game setup, we're going with very hard, as I find that to be the sweet spot, and the AI stats dialed up all the way to the max. Now, that's it for me. In the Horned Rat's name, all glory to the algorithm, and let's get to it.
Experiments! Ratkin! Set ready! Fight for Moulder Clan! Fight for Throt!
I will always fight for Throt, at least in this campaign. Anyway, here we go. Pretty cool to see the camera come down on the Hell Pit. It's such a different sort of area compared to Vanilla, where it's one dinky little city. And here we will be sort of clawing our way up out of Hell Pit and, then to cause havoc all over the world. I've always been interested in the start. But anyway, and before we start, real quick, for those unfamiliar, how they play. Now, Moulder has access to the Flesh Lab, which does really a bunch of things. You get growth juice over time, and it basically allows you to periodically recruit units out of the growth vat, I believe is the name of the thing. You also get mutagen, which is another currency you can use to give buffs to your units, and, well, debuffs if they become unstable, like so. And really, this is the most interesting aspect of Clan Moulder, because it enables so many different army compositions that otherwise would not be able to. A little bit similar, I suppose, to Warband Ironclaw in that manner. Anyway, other than the growth juice in the Flesh Lab and the mutagens, you got the standard sort of Skaven stuff, so Undercities beneath enemy settlements, obviously the Skaven food mechanic, which provides buffs and debuffs faction-wide, depending on where you are, and does allow you to rapidly colonize settlements as well. Obviously Skaven corruption, which allows you to summon clan rats via the menace below, and is a quite useful and irritating ability, and of course the underway stance as well. Now, in terms of SFO, and this being the next version, we have the reworked technology tree, which used to be one basic tree here. Now the clans tree, as it's been renamed, I suppose, is the military aspect and sort of deals with heroes and lords and unit buffs and all that. The tunnels tree is now our economic sort of aspect and has another currency called Rat Force, which I guess is sort of like Workforce, exactly like Workforce, but you know, with rats, and we'll be going through this as well, which I do like. And because of the fact that it uses different currencies, most likely we'll be forced to bounce back and forth between the various trees, which I do like that aspect of as well, as it kind of incentivizes not just focusing on the one thing. We also have this thing, which is Undercity, Rule the World, and it's another tree which seems to provide various different kinds of faction-wide buffs, and they seem to be both military and economic to some degree, though not directly to units. Chance to colonize ruins all around the world each turn. Chances based on Skaven corruption. Oh, that's neat. Alrighty, well, we'll go through all of that when we can, but for now, we got to get our first sort of battle up and running immediately. So, Throt the Unclean stands stalking. Sure, why not? You are going to be facing off against Nurgle here. Alright, so I guess we'll have to work our way through Nurgle and then on towards Slaanesh, and who is this? And Khorne. Oh, wow, okay, just face off against all of the Chaos factions here. Anyway, go Throt. Let's start with our first fight, and it's an ambush, so probably not so great for the Nurglites. Apparently we also draw in the garrison, so free amount of clan rats, though as to whether we'll actually see them in the first fight remains to be seen. Go.
Commands!
Alrighty, here we go, our first fight, an ambush in appropriately Skavenly fashion. Oh, I couldn't figure out what the heck that shadow was, and it's the shadow of the bony hand from the Spirit Leech. Anyway, Throt the Unclean on field at last, heading in with his Things Catcher and his whip against the enemy Plague Ridden here, or Herald of Nurgle, whatever, while our Skaven slaves and clan rats close the distance with the enemy Plague Bearers. In the meantime, we have targeted all of our range units, our 2 units of Night Runners against the Plague Toads here, while our single mutant Rat Ogre will be delivering its high armor-piercing magical damage to said Plague Toads and helping to bring them down while we hit them in the back with the units of Wolf Rats. Obviously, it's going to take a while to work through the enemy Plague Bearers with their extremely high HP, solid defenses, and I believe they also have that fly thing on them as well. Cloud of Flies, so yeah, they'll have that regen. And missile resistance, so yeah, pretty tanky units. I'm gonna take a while, but that's alright. In the meantime, the enemy army is now in trouble as we've closed the distance with them from several sides. We've summoned Rat Ogres on top of the enemy as well, as Throt comes with the ability to summon a unit of them. And now it's just a matter of time working our way through the enemy Nurglings and Plague Bearers. Alrighty, tactically, it's a very simple battle. It is the first battle after all, and there we go. I see that the ability... Oh, wow, okay, so 1 Plague Bearer at the cost of like a dozen of our own Wolf Rats. So the ability that causes the... Okay, where is that? Where's that unit of Wolf Rats? Yeah, see? They took like, I don't know, 20% of their own HP and damage by hitting themselves with that darn Warp Lightning. It's not a targeted Warp Lightning, it's a direct Warp Lightning that damages everybody who it hits. Which is a bit of a shame, but, well, what can you do? Anyway, Clan Rats have been summoned via the menace below, and now, yes, the Plague Bearer is completely surrounded by Rat Ogres and Rats alike, and it's only a matter of time. Good use of the Mutant Rat Ogre would have also been to have sent it against the enemy lord. In fact, probably the better use of it to have sent it against the enemy lord, but it is providing a nice anchoring point for our main line, as obviously the clan rats and Skaven slaves would have a fairly difficult time dishing out any significant damage to the plague bearers. Basic units as they are, but like many a battle that is in our future, this is the old drown 'em in bodies thing, and we've certainly got bodies to spare. Another Spirit Leech comes down, looks like on some of our units of Rat Ogres from the enemy Herald of Nurgle, but his Plague Bearers are nearly out of the picture now. I guess it's nice to ambush Nurgle, because Nurgle is so slow, generally speaking, at least with most of its army compositions, that the units that are getting ambushed are probably not going to escape. I think this is the first time I've ever had a ambush battle to start a camp. Well, I mean, I would assume that other Skaven starts would also be ambushes, but I don't remember whether we got one last time we did a Skaven run. Either way. Feels very different from most campaign starts by virtue of that alone. Anyway, it looks like the last of the Plague Bearers have been banished, and only the Herald of Nurgle remains. And it looks like one last blow from the Mutant Rat Ogre will take him out. Lovely. A lovely little first fight. Obviously an easy fight that you can't lose, but that's generally speaking the fights that you start the campaign with. Every fight from here on out will get harder and harder. Slaneshi giggle. Alright, there we go. Nice little first fight. A little bit of damage to ourselves, and funnily enough, a fair bit of it from our own Warp Lightning casting unstable Wolf Rats, though funnily enough that's a stable augment, but it does hit allies as well. Kind of a dangerous thing to use. I'll have to figure out which particular army composition we will be better off spamming that Warp Lightning upgrade. Kind of interesting. Anyway, we did take damage, especially on the Skaven slaves and clan rats, but that should hardly be of any surprise. It is a Skaven army after all, and the Eat Captives is relatively minor, so I think we'll sell them off in order to get the additional little bit of cash. We're gonna need it, especially in the early game. There we go, engage the enemy complete, and what do we have in terms of defenses at 8th? Circle. I fear that our auto-resolve capability is going to be pretty minimal, and oh, we actually can't even reach it in this turn. Huh. I guess it does take a while to get here. We cannot recruit here either. Alright, fine. We'll go into raiding stance, and then we'll go right here, and then hopefully we'll still be able to reach it next turn. Alright, that looks good to me. Next, we will pick a tech, and the only tech to pick, I believe, will be not the beginning, funnily enough, though newly colonized ruins, rather than constructed, have greatly reduced construction costs and duration for one turn, and that's fine, but I think that since this is a per turn sort of thing, the gaining of rat force, we should probably try to spam this early on so that every single turn, even if we're not researching any of these rat force required technologies, that we're actually gaining enough. Ooh, hello. That's nice. That's real nice. Okay, that one we probably want to go towards. Upkeep reduction at any point is always great, but anyway. And, oh wow, that didn't level Throt to level 1? And not a shame. Otherwise, diplomacy. Is there anything interesting here? No, apparently nobody wants to be friends with the adorable little rats. How dare they? Oh well, they'll be turned into growth juice soon enough, and I believe we're good to end the turn and then proceed. Ooh, wait, there is one other thing. What do we have in terms of chieftains here? Devoted Chief, Musk of Dominance, and Ratacrobatics. I don't dislike the charge defense versus large in the melee attack bonus, and Loyal Guardian, increase aura and a bigger effect range for the Loyal Guardian trait, eh? So I take it everybody here has oh, wait. Loyal Guardian and Guardian are not the same thing, are they? It says effect range plus 100% for Loyal Guardian, not regular Guardian. I don't know if that's worth it. 15% physical resistance is not bad. It does seem to do the same thing as Guardian. It's curious. wonder if those are different things and whether they'll stack. I guess we'll find out. Either way, I guess we can summon here at 8th circle, so it doesn't matter. So let's proceed to it. Alrighty, SFO offers you the ability to get a 1 turn or a few turns of a buff. Lately I've been saying Time of Balance and not bother with a buff or a debuff. You could pop off Time of Rebellions and get the control reduction, which would allow you to farm Rebellions as Skaven, which isn't a bad thing either, but I think nonetheless we'll just do Time of Balance and not get any buffs or debuffs. Now yeah, I got so excited about going to the next turn that I forgot to do this. Always want to uncollect your income on your first turns in SFO because it increases the growth and admittedly the public order, though in this particular situation, at least for the Skaven, it may not be as useful. As for other factions, looks like by virtue of the I'm gonna say Inspiring Presence first. By virtue of the fact that we were raiding, we did level up slightly. We need to be rank 14 for Brood Horrors, 5 for Tide of Death, and 5 for Tide of Pox. And I guess we'll want to save those 2 points when we get them. For now, though, increase the post-battle loot slightly. We're going to be fighting a lot here. Yeah, fine, go with that. Frankly, we'll probably replace this Packmaster anyway, because Pack Hunter seems like an atrocious trait. Basically useless effectively, so more likely than not we'll just replace it with a better one. Anyway, you can go into regular stance I guess then, and maybe we should channel as well. Not now obviously, but after the fight. But anyway, we can go into regular stance and then go into 8th circle and let's see, Pyrrhic Victory this time. Ooh, they got the Beasts of Nurgle there. Well, I guess we'll fight this as well. We got some very different units and it would kill off one of our clan rats, though obviously we're Skaven and a lot of our units are going to be disposable over the course of the campaign. Go again. Alrighty, kill, and consume, but not necessarily in that order. I don't think Throt cares all that much. Anyway, here we go. We got another little blob of Nurglites against us. Couple of Beasts of Nurgle, and that's something for our Ogre and our Night Runners to target. Speaking of Ogres, I'm sure Throt would like some regular Ogre test subjects, so we're going to see if we can't ally with some Ogre factions. I was disappointed in my inability to ally with any sort of good Ogre factions in my Carl campaign. And by good Ogre factions, I mean factions that aren't minor factions, that don't get obliterated. Basically, I really wanted to ally with Goldtooth, but it seems that because he was allied with other Skaven, he was really unfriendly to Carl, so it was like a -300 relationship or something like that. So yeah, anyway, I'd like to do that here and intersperse some nice Ogre troops amongst these Skaven troops as well. I'm sure the Skaven are, well, they are so numerous that I'm sure that they're edible enough for Ogre's purposes. Anyway, the first of the Beasts of Nurgle do get brought down by concentrated fire from the 2 units of Night Runners, and now we once again have closed the distance with the enemy with our fast movers, so our Rat Ogres and our Doggos, our Wolf Rats. Hit the enemy in the back, quickly overrun those Forsaken, and all that armor of theirs probably not going to help all that much, especially since we've got the Rat Ogres to provide armor-piercing damage, and the Wolf Rats have armor-piercing as well. So they act as the hammer against our Skaven Slave and Clan Rat Anvil. And actually a fairly solid sort of start/strat for the Moulder clan. I like it. Definitely got to have a sort of different feeling for when you play the different different Skaven clans, and I feel like that means that what we're going to try to do is with all of our very different army compositions, we definitely have to include some Moulder monsters in them. So we'll have to figure out which ones will go with which kind of armies. And it'll also mean that it'll limit the sort of sameness of using units like, I don't know, weapons teams and all that, especially because we'll have to have monsters in them as well, which will reduce the amount of sort of weight of fire that you can have in a single army. which it keeps in battles pretty darn interesting. But pretty much every battle with Skaven is interesting. They're really fun to play, especially in the early game because of the relative weakness of the clan rats and the Skaven slaves. And, you know, you can have 2 or 3 times as many units as the enemy does, and especially in SFO, it may mean that you'll get still potentially obliterated. Speaking of getting obliterated, however, the enemy lord is down. Most of their army has been destroyed and has shattered, and the battle is ours. Another quick and easy one, but like I said, it's only going to get harder from here. Slanashi giggle. Alright, an Opal Amulet, not a bad pickup, especially in the early game. Until Throt gets his Brood Horror, he's going to be pretty fragile, and he's definitely in need of regeneration, so I wonder what level he has to be for that. I'm gonna double check. But anyway, a little bit of gold, a little bit of XP, a little bit of growth juice. It says growth of that, but it's growth juice that we got here, a little bit of food, etc, etc. We will not loot and occupy it at a higher level. Just out of curiosity, we need 80 food to occupy it at tier 3, eh? So we should then have enough food to do that at the main settlement. Not more, unfortunately. We could always abandon and redo it, but I don't know. I always found the tactic a little bit iffy as to whether it's an intentional sort of aspect of it. Anyway, we will just regular loot and occupy it. Yes. Huh. Raising it would give us 10 growth juice as well, wouldn't it? Nonetheless. Alright, enemy killed in battle. There's that. Another non-level up. Another very close, but non-level up. Ooh, we do get to recruit now, though, which means definitely spamming those Skaven slaves. We could probably use clan rats with spears and shields as well. They're not super expensive right now. We could also use some Skaven slave slingers, but for now we'll do this. And then we'll get the Skaven slave slingers up and running as well. It takes 2 turns to recruit those guys here. Let's also take a look at those chieftains again. You know what, let's get 1 devoted chief with a loyal guardian. Frankly, Throt should be so regenerative that this shouldn't matter, but on the other hand, it affects all heroes as well, which could mean that if we use just 1 of these, we could buff up the giant pile of packmasters that are likely to be in Throt's army, since he's the monster guy. Alright, so I want to just double check here while we're here. I have Ruinous Valor, Power Grab, Future Warlord. I want to see if this loyal guardian thing exists. Oh, it's right there. Alright. Oh, okay, so it displayed regular guardian, but now I see loyal guardian. Fair enough, and now that's doubling the range. Alright, yeah. Is it worth it compared to the significant amount of extra attack? I don't know, but I think if we have several heroes, several packmasters in this army, because we use them to replace brood horrors, that'll still be nice as well. Anyway, there's nothing to build unless we want to potentially get rid of the rubbish pit here. Let me just double check here. What are the basic buildings again? I'll probably want the growth building, the rattling warrens. And obviously we want the giant fungi caverns here, but, well, actually, because of the way that the sort of lower levels of help at the pit bottom work, we can only build 1 structure here, and we may want it to be a military structure in the early game before we replace it with anything else. We already have the clan armory, though admittedly we won't need storm vermin because they're horrifically expensive in the early game. What we might want, though, is, let me just take a look at lords here. Warlords, frontline rat, that's what we want. I remember you from when I played, previous Skaven previous times, and the frontline rat gives additional armor to Skaven slaves and clan rats, which are great follower lords in the early game. Out of curiosity, let's see what else we have here, though. I don't dislike Swift and Unseen, devastating flanker for everybody in the army. Shuriken Mayhem is pretty great too, and frankly, this would make another great follower lord. And because I really do like the Night Runners, and you know what? In previous campaigns, I have generally taken longer to build these guys, so maybe we'll get you up and running immediately. Let's do it. I think in my previous run, the Clan Eshin army took a little bit longer, so I think in this time it won't take as long. Thus, I think we'll build a hidden layer here rather than the rubbish pit. So we'll delete that, though admittedly, wait. Yeah, you know what? Switch to devious plans, leave it for one turn because this needs to be unlocked and it requires the rubbish pit to be built. I guess we can replace it with the breeding stock and then unlock ferocious plans and then go back to it. I think that makes sense. Alright, that looks good, and then we'll get the frontline rat lord as well, because, you know, at Skaven, we'll need giant piles of rats. And let's check Diplo again. Anybody interested in our friendship now? Putrid Musk wants peace, but that ain't gonna happen. And I guess we're good to go. So skip, skip, and turn. Alright, there we are, devious plans unlocked. Let's see, you can go back into going after, I believe it was Slave Force 1, and then back to, and then towards entrance as well. Gotta get that rat force. And now, Throt, you can reach 7th circle from here. That's neat. Minus the fact that it's a siege battle, and, well, our capabilities at the current time are limited. Nonetheless, you're going to move on in immediately. And we'll also pop in the, I was about to say Packmaster, but that's not the case, but anyway. And you will build some siege towers, because we will definitely need them. Although, funnily enough, wait, are Nurglings still not able to be put on walls? Because if they're not, then the enemy has a little hope of defending the walls, but anyway. Sieges are nonetheless a lot scarier in SFO than they are in vanilla, so we still need to be wary of it. Anyway, let's go for the nest layer here. A U can be now deleted and replaced with a rubbish pit. You can go right here. I don't think these guys will sally out, but who knows. Just in case, though, since we're waiting anyway, we'll grab a couple of Skaven slaves, slingers, and then I guess we'll have to build some night runners, but I guess we're just going to go... I don't really care for the non-spear clan rats. I like the additional melee defense and the anti-large, because we got plenty of anti-infantry damage via our monsters. So we could probably replace them with these guys, but anyway, let's get another clan rat spear. Yeah. Alright, good enough for now, and frankly, we should replace the, you know, stabby Skaven slaves with long stabby Skaven slaves. I mean, the swords with the spears as well. Anyway, you're good, there's nothing else to do. We are not rank 4, we are going to next turn again. Oops. Alrighty, and yeah, as expected, they did not sell yet, but that's alright. And we're gonna pop you into, I don't know, an offensive and camp stance right here. Oh, wait. Offensive and camp also generates food now? Oh, that's nice. As opposed to... okay, so twice as much food for raiding. Interesting, we're gonna need it. We are starting to lose food now, unfortunately, so we won't be... Yeah, the army upkeep. You're costing us 5 and then the... Yeah, alright, fine. Fair enough. Yeah, that means, unfortunately, we won't be generating enough to immediately get you a tier 3, but that's alright. Not a big deal. We'll just grow it while we do other rat things. You gotta do rat things. Anyway, the other thing we need was the... Rattling Warren's breeding pit, was it? I'm just double checking here. Breeding stock. Wait, what is breeding stock? Nest nursery, rattling war... Huh? Rubbish pit. Okay. Let me just see here. Breeding stock. Oh! It's the Moulder chain. Alright, well, that's great, but we'll probably build the Moulder chain in the 7th circle, which means we don't need to build it here, which means we're free to build a hidden layer as soon as this upgrades in a couple of turns. Or we ignore it for now, build the hidden layer here in the 7th circle, and just get the storage cave up and running for the additional little bit of food and replenishment and whatnot, and Skaven slave capacity, which is always nice. Admittedly, it's not a lot of food regeneration, but also admittedly we do need it, so start off with it, it's cheap. And I guess we should just go on and fight. We should be fine. Yeah, our first siege. Go.
For Moulder Clan.
Alright, it looks like Throt's speeches are relatively sort of normal volume, and now that I've heard Elspeth speak, who has super loud speeches, I end up comparing these speeches of every single lord. But anyway, I really love the Skaven siege towers, and I still think it's a major misstep on the part of the devs not to have siege towers with crazy equipment and stuff. Because if you're telling me that Skaven will build this siege tower and will not have a bunch of flamethrowers on top, or I don't know, warp lightnings, or I don't know, maybe these things zapping people, I will call you crazy, because I think we all know that they would. Or even, I don't know, have the ability to break through walls or something. Frankly, I feel like they could have done a lot with lots of different kinds of siege engines between the different factions and just general siege engine availability to individual factions. Could have made sieges a lot more fun by virtue of it. But anyway. Surprisingly, the Skaven battering ram doesn't look particularly fancy, though I do like their aesthetic. It's pretty fun. Anyway, I'm going to speed this up once again. Weird as it may be to be attacking a Skaven settlement. I mean, maybe not so weird, because Skaven like fighting... Well, Skaven are fighting Skaven all the time. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off by getting all of our Skaven slaves, or most of our Skaven slaves, up on top of the wall with a single unit of Clan Rat spears, with whom we have our Lord and heroes. So Throt, the Packmaster, and the Chieftain, together with this unit of Clan Rats, will be going after the enemy Plague-Ridden and the enemy Herald of Nurgle. Alright, and the goal is to bring them down, because it looks like, yes indeed, the Nurglings are unable to go up on top of walls, and this is primarily a Nurgling-defended settlement, which means the enemy Lord and Hero are stuck alone up here, and though it'll take some time, Throt's going to fight them. Plus, we should probably enjoy Throt and his animations in melee. He'll be on that brood horror sooner than you know. And then we won't be able to enjoy his ground game anymore. But admittedly, the brute horrors are so insanely quick that it's just not worth it to not use them. And obviously the regeneration helps nicely as well. Anyway, how are we doing out here? The enemy is lost. It's a plague-ridden, unless I'm mistaken, and only the Herald of Nurgle remains, which we're going to start working through. The gate has fallen, and we continue sending more and more rats up on top of the walls. Dark map, perhaps, but it does make sense for it to be dark in a Skaven warren. And the units on top of the walls will have their purpose. Specifically, the Night Runners with slings are going to set up and start firing down upon the enemy below. The enemy Herald of Nurgle is still definitely fighting. I mean, you know, credit where it's due. It's taking a while to bring them down, considering. I guess we do lack the sheer amount of damage we'd need to deal with them, at least for now. But it'll change. And soon we're going to start making our way through the breached gate into the enemy settlement. We're actually going to lead with a summoning of a Clan Rats via the Menace below, such that the enemy countercharge, whether it be from their Toads or whether it be from their Nurglings, will hit and damage the summoned units, while our Skaven slaves and other Clan Rats make their way inside, and our units of Slingers now start firing down on the enemy below. Looks like about 30% HP remaining on the enemy Lord. And we're certainly going to take advantage of the fact that the enemy will soon not have any Lord or Hero available to buff them. Anyway, time to get a few of our monstrous units in, and it looks like the Mutant Rat Ogre, towering over the Plague Toads as it does, will make its way into the fray, followed by its smaller brethren. And then we really gotta send some heroes. One to Scrag, the Slaughterer, and one to Grease's Goldtooth. I know that they're all really far, but I think we can make alliances with them and get some good use out of their units. Frankly, I'm a little bit more interested in their units than I am out of Chaos and Norskin units, with the exception of Chaos Dwarfs, obviously. And because they'll work nicely as well if we can become friendly with them. Obviously, the Chaos Dwarfs despise Skaven, so it may be difficult, but if we should declare enough wars on their enemies, it might work out. Anyway, as you could probably tell by the summoning of the Rat Ogre suddenly appearing on the field, Throt has come down as the enemy Lord has been defeated. Working our way through all those Nurglings, which are so tiny that they'd probably just wriggle their way through those Things Catchers. Probably not the most useful weapon against Nurglings, but that's alright. We could just squish them. Alright, I'm excited to be using rat ogres in decent amounts in this campaign, especially with the various forms that we can give to them via the growth juice, or the mutagen rather. Especially as last time I played Skaven, I didn't use them all that much. They'll play a little bit more of a pivotal role in this particular campaign. I mean, it is Moulder after all, and we got to use the signature units a little bit more. Although they may not be a Moulder contraption, I also can't wait to get those warp flares on the battlefield. And they're just so dang fun to use. I think it was in my Drajoath campaign where I combined Skullcrackers and Doom Flayers. I always forget if it's Doom Flayers or Warp Flayers, because everything Skaven is either Warp or Doom, but I'm not sure which one it is. But anyway, I'm going to assume it's Warp Flayers, but or is it Doom Flayers? I'm going to say Doom Flayers. Anyway, they work really nicely with the Skullcracker, and especially in SFO. It's a solid combination. Alrighty, but anyway, that's in the future. For now, we've got to work through first the Nurglites, then the Khornates, then the Slaneshi, and then, depending on if we attack Sarthoriel, the Tzeentchians as well. Basically, all the Chaos Gods around us, around the Helpit, for some reason trying to prevent us from getting out. On the other hand, maybe it does make sense, as these Skaven are arguably the biggest threat in the world. More so than the sort of human Chaos Worshippers. Well, okay, it's not just human, because, you know, Fimir and stuff, and Dragon Ogres and blah 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 blah, but you know what I mean. Anyway, the non-Skaven Chaos Worshippers, I suppose. Anyway, looks like the last of the Nurglings have been cleared out, and we will make our way across this bridge. Sadly, the enemy has no way to explode said bridge and obliterate all of these rats that are heading towards them. In just a matter of time now, as the last of the Nurglings melt away and give the settlement to us. Lovely. Alright, there we go. Almost weird to attack that settlement, or at least it feels weird just by virtue of the fact that I'm so used to, well, attacking, well, weird to attack the settlement as Skaven instead of seeing the Skaven on the defense there. But anyway, we are going to... There's no point in occupying settlements at tier 2 because it's a waste of food, because it's so quick to use the growth to upgrade to tier 2, so we'll just occupy it at tier 1 instead. Loot and occupy. Alright, victory over Nurgle, enemy killed in battle, pit bottom province secured, and putrid musk destroyed, which means Khorne will be next. And I'm sure Bloodletters and, yeah, Chaos Warriors of Khorne are certainly going to give us some tough fights up ahead. You, sir, can keep moving up ahead. You've got... Oh, we've only got 3 slots in the 7th circle. I figured it would be more. We do have a special building available here soon, but not right now. Surprisingly, it doesn't enable the recruitment of... it buffs, but does not enable the recruitment of any of the Moulder stuff, which I feel is a little bit strange, but it is what it is. We will need you to be tier 2 to get that breeding stock up and running, so for now... we don't really care about the control all that much. Frankly, I'm almost tempted to collect the income just so that it rebels, so that we can kill the, you know, little rebellious pile. Oh, but the rebellion will... Well, actually, we got some Nurglite corruption still, so hopefully the rebellion will be Nurglite rather than Skavenly. Because that will allow us to then not lose this army immediately, because it would otherwise potentially get ambushed. Well, if they do, they do. You know, the way of the assassin and all that. Anyway, we still gotta get this front line wrapped up and running, but I wonder whether we should wait or not. Depends on what the rebellion is. You know what, let's give it a... Oh. Huh. Does that mean it will rebel immediately or not? I guess we're about to find out. Wait, I guess we could move Throt out of the location. But I kind of don't like that either. Oh, you know what, just stay there. Oh, you know what? You can actually go into raiding stance, which will decrease the public order even further. And then you can't switch to anything. Well, I guess you could channel your... Well, you lose the healing, and we do want the mutant rat ogre to heal. Yeah, let's take a quick look at the augments. So what do we have here, and how much of the... Okay, we still only have 100 mutagen, so we gotta be careful about this. There is this... Autotomy, rather. Casualty or punishment rate plus 20. Before we get other casualty or punishment rate, we could go into grabbing that. Vanguard deployment. Ugh, you know what? I don't want you to get for Warp Lightning Rod. It's kind of dangerous to our own troops, so we'd have to go through this to get this right now. I'm not sure that we want that. Oh, Guardian. Now, that might be decent on one of these guys as well. You know what? Let's wait. It's a significant amount of mutagen when we have so little right now, and I think we can wait. For a bit at any rate. I assume it's not fixed at 100 and we can have as many as... A maximum of 100 can be stored at once. Never mind. Okay, I should have used that immediately then. Alright, let's see what we got then. Rat ogres. Huh. I wonder if you upgrade, would it then delete it? Kind of curious about that. You know what, let's do it to the wolf rats. I guess we could do it to this wolf rat. How much... We need to be rank 3 to upgrade to a poison. I want to see if this disappears or not. So let's give just one upgrade to you. It doesn't really matter which one. You already have Vanguard deployment. Alright, so let's do Razor Claw Grafts, like so. Then... Oh, so we need to get Warp Fuel Infusion to get this as well. I don't know how much we get this per battle. Oh, we don't get it per battle, it's from conversion and the growth vat. Alright, well, we're working on the growth vat right now. Alright, it's fine, it's fine. I never played Throt when he came out, so there's going to be at least a little bit of learning to do. We will want to save your... Oh, wow, you have a lot of points in your main tree. Alright, you know what, and then by and large we'll probably want to save points, unless we get armor out of Moulder Knowledge, and... No, we don't. Speed and charge bonus, all of which are great, but it's kind of a terrible 12 points compared to... Or 3 points, rather, compared to everybody else. Everybody else seems to get significantly more useful stuff. Yeah. Alrighty, what about you? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, alright, so we'll build some mesh and stuff rather quickly. We'll use Night Runners at first, we'll eventually upgrade them, because Night Runners are going to be significantly cheaper than Gutter Runners, I'd wager. But anyway, let's skip all of this and allow the rebellion to happen and then go next turn. 7th circle, we'll build the Moulder building and then whatever else afterwards, end turn. Alright, Rebellion, and it does look like it's a Nurglide Rebellion, which works well for us, right? Unlocked Dominating Scheme. Alright, we'll want to pop this immediately for the bonus growth control and, I guess, recruitment cost reduction as well. It's only for 5 turns where you basically want to have this thing going at all times. 3 technologies to unlock the Scheme of Doom. Pestilent Knave to unlock the... Infections? This does not... It's basically just chance of plague spreading. It's basically just to use the Skaven plague. Alright, fair enough. And then... Moulder Clan Stone, diplomatic relations with Skaven, upkeep reduction. Yeah, it's not bad for 13 turns, so the 13 scheme will at least be nice. Anyway, we'll perform the dominating scheme right now. Like so. Then we will uncollect the income here because we no longer need it. Well, not that we're really collecting any anyway. And then we'll bump up the nest layer to tier 2, and with the expansionist planning, we should be able to get it up to tier 3 rather quickly. You two, can we auto-resolve this? You're going to go into offensive and camp right here. Okay, well, whatever. And then Throt, you're going to save your points. So this guy, however, you know what, you're going to save your points for your... summons. And, ooh, actually, I want to see, do we have any other interesting chieftains? We have Battle Banner, Rat Acrobatics, which is still potentially nice, but we'll keep an eye on it. Go for this. And it's an ambush. An enemy failed to spot it. I think maybe we'll risk auto-resolving it. It's going to be too similar, and it seems like a waste of time. Let's hope it doesn't do horrific damage to the mutant rat ogre. Please, game. Yeah, it does some damage. It's not horrific, but, well, it's more than I'd like, but what can you do? Take the money. Even though we have plenty of money for now, it's going to disappear rather quickly. And hello. Huh. Now that's a question. I wonder if this guy can immediately move to 6th circle from where he currently is. Now, the army therein is kind of negligible, and we got to unlock the Morscatar's Hellion. Like so, so doubling up on those mutant rat ogres. You can reach it, and then you will be able to as well. Yes, alright. This place will no longer be suffering attrition. The Nurglide corruption is still dropping. It's going to take a while, but it'll be fine. Alright, Throt. Could we spend the turn? We could always use it to recruit some stuff. You know what, I just spend the turn. I say we go into... Huh. What's the likelihood that this guy actually moves to this territory? That wouldn't be so bad either. Alright, you know what, let's allow him to do that. You are going to go into offensive and camp. How if it heals better in enemy territory? Do we risk it right now? I don't think we can risk it. Stay here. You are going to go into raiding stance in enemy territory. And you're gonna grab... Right. I still don't have the Yeshan stuff, so we could recruit some... Oh, for a Skaven Slave Slinger. And another Skaven Slave Spear. There we go, we'll just transfer them to these guys. They're basically free anyway. Anyway, let's do it like this. We'll raid these guys, see if they react to this in any way. Is 5th Circle better defended than 6th Circle? Maybe. Yes, it is. Alright, you know what? Now, let's do this then. You are going to declare war on right now. Like so. And let's see if they move to attempt to heal or whatever. You know what I mean. And Throt's level 4 now, which doesn't matter, but just stay there. Skip. Let's see if they move to 6th Circle to try to defend, not heal. You know what I mean. I barely know what I mean. Go. Go figure, they will actually attempt to attack us in the field, and they can reach us. I would prefer that Throt is the main army that faces off against the enemy, especially with them charging towards us, so we'll retreat with you. And then he'll attack Throt. Beautiful, that's exactly what we wanted. And since we're in our own territory, we'll get more Menace Below uses. Now, the Bloodletters are definitely going to be a major issue for us. I don't even know whether our clan rats and such can handle this, but if they can't, we'll just back off and then and do it again, since Throt has not yet retreated. Go.
Kill, consume!
Alrighty, kill, and consume indeed. Let's see if we can pull it off. I'd wager that this is going to be our first tough battle in this particular campaign. I mean, we got clan rats and Skaven slaves, and the Bloodletters are going to absolutely cut through them like nobody's business. In fact, our own monstrous units, whether they be the rat ogres or the wolf rats, will be very much in danger from any enemy units as well. Flesh hounds and Bloodletters can tear them apart. Ooh, this unit of Chaos Warriors of Khorne with dual weapons. A tier 3 unit and an anti-infantry dual axe unit that is heavily armored. Going to be really tough for us to deal with. Hopefully, our newly acquired Morskatars Hellion will be up to the task. We're definitely going to try to make as much use out of this particular unit as possible. On top of the fact that it has a very high melee attack, it has that lovely warp discharge ability, and hopefully the extra damage that it does via that little mini vortex will help it dish out enough damage to knock out critical enemy units. Anyway, we have blobbed up with the Skaven slaves in front of the clan rats and the units of night runners with slings behind them. We are using a little bit of terrain over on our right flank to protect our forces. Over on the left flank is where the enemy has decided to send the majority, or just a big pile, I suppose, of its Chaos Warhounds and Flesh Hounds, 2 and 2 unless I'm mistaken. And this is where we have summoned our first unit of Menace Below, right in the midst of all these doggos, stopping them in their tracks and allowing our own wolf rats to charge towards them and hopefully tear them apart before they can do too much damage to us, as obviously they are higher damaging, or at least the Flesh Hounds are, than our own dog units. Alright, and here comes the mutant Rat Ogre to help out against the Flesh Hounds, while the Morskatars Hellion and our own other units of Rat Ogres are moving in. Looks like the main lines have come into contact, and already the first of the enemy, our Skaven slaves, are getting torn to shreds and booking it on out of there. Hardly surprising, and we're just going to have to deal. Throt the Unclean is in the midst of a fight with the enemy Herald of Khorne there. But that one's going to last for quite a while, and ooh, here come those Chaos Warriors of Khorne with dual weapons. More of our units are fleeing the main line, and well, that's hardly surprising. I'm gonna send a unit of clan rats to try to interfere with the exalted bloodletters, and just try to keep them out of the fight, essentially. They're going to be here, and they will cut through them. I mean, look at that HP drop, without taking too much damage, I'd wager. But we have reinforcements now arriving on the field, not much, but a Master Assassin and even the 2 units of Skaven Slave Slingers will help out. Bloodletters are pretty vulnerable to range fire, after all, and we're definitely going to make good use of it. Morskatar's Hellion is now going after the enemy lord. It looks like we need to bring it down as quickly as we can, and in fact both of the Mutant Rat Ogres are going to focus it. And fortunately, the Heralds of Khorne, with their extremely low melee defense, especially when debuffed by Looming Dread, losing 30 of their melee defense thanks to our Master Assassin, will get quickly obliterated. It was needed as Throt took too much damage. It is now broken and running away together with, well, several of our units of Clan Rats, one of our units of Rat Ogres. Our Packmaster looks to be in pretty bad shape as well. But what can you do? Now we've sent the Morskatar's Hellion back into the fray. He's going to try to distract and damage this unit of Chaos Warriors of Khorne with dual weapons. Other than the Exalted Bloodletters, I think that's probably the biggest threat on the battlefield. Our Skaven Slave Slingers and our unit of Night Runner Slingers or units of Night Runner Slingers are still providing plenty of help. We've also moved our Skaven Slave Slingers all the way to the left flank, where they're firing sort of perpendicular to the enemy, or parallel, I guess, rather, to the enemy deployment. Oh, love that animation of those flesh hands where they pick the tiny little infantrymen up and then, I don't know, toss them in the air and all. Pretty entertaining, you gotta admit. Though I do feel bad for the little rats. It's all good. We got plenty more rats where that came from. Anyway, as we can see, the Bloodletters are tearing through our main lines, but they're having a lot more trouble with our monstrous units, or at the very least our Mutant Rat Ogres. The regular Rat Ogres are in too bad shape now to continue, down to, I don't know, 20% of their HP. And frankly, the Mutant Rat Ogres aren't in great shape either. Unfortunately for the enemy, they're starting to lose a lot of units as well. With their lord dead and their heroes now defeated, and them being unable to stop the Morskatar's Hellion, who has caused now 150 casualties and a massive 41,000 damage. It looks like it did its job in anchoring the line. These slings, though they do little enough damage, still annoying and still keep dropping down on the enemy below. Soon we'll be able to replace the gutter or night runners with gutter runners as well, and then add poison to those slings, which will help out quite nicely. As soon as we build the building at any rate. And then we can promote them. Anyway, with that, the last of the Bloodletters will melt away, and the battle is ours. Definitely a close one with massive damage to our front lines, but, well, that's the way that any Skaven battle should feel. We will make sure to chase down those Chaos Warriors of Khorne as well. And yeah, definite MVP of the battle goes to that Morskatar's Hellion. Let's see what final damage and kill count it got. Alrighty, there we go. Some of the enemies did get reforged, including the enemy lord and hero, but otherwise a very nice fight. Massive casualties amongst our clan rats and Skaven slaves, but it wouldn't be a Skaven fight. And without them, and again, the same tactics that make Skaven annoying to play against, with them routing and rallying repeatedly, are the same tactics that we were able to employ ourselves, which is pretty darn good. Got a decent amount of XP, and I think since we're in our own territory, we're actually free to sell off again, rather than... Ooh, we do have a lucky number 13 healing, but it won't help the single entities, and they're the important ones. Speaking of single entities, with the Vortex ability on Morskatar's Hellion, that thing dealt out a massive 44,000 damage and got 175 kills. Granted, in SFO the numbers are inflated because all units have greater HP and all that, but nonetheless. The regular Mutant Rat Ogre did not do nearly as well, but it started the battle very hurt, and we were mostly using it to cycle charge, annoy the enemy, cause morale shocks, and occasionally hunt down or at least help damage any single entities that we could find. Anyway, we will sell the enemy off, and let's see what else happens. Alright, now, Rat Force generated +5 per turn, great. And now, Throt's own level 5 doesn't really matter, but the level on the Packmaster very much does. Tide of Pox and Tide of Death now there to help out. We might as well get Scavenge. We get Casualty or Punishment out of Master Moulder and Retinue Physician. I wonder which Skaven hero applies the casualty or punishment buff. Is it assassins? I hope it's not assassins. I didn't particularly want an assassin in this particular army, but anyway. We should also probably start leveling a second chieftain. Eventually we can get him on a bone breaker, and considering level 12 is fairly quick to acquire, it's not so bad. 7th circle, okay, yes, so we will want the... Do we have construction cost reduction? We do... Not. Okay, fair enough. Let us do the lower levels of Hell Pit. Income generated 500, pretty solid, and control food and growth juice generated per turn. Pretty nice. Upgrade production also for Rat Ogres and Hell Pit abominations, which we'll want to be building. You then are going to start up on the Moulder tree, which is this breeding stock. We'll try to go to the pits of the Packmasters as soon as possible. I guess then, wait, we should get rid of the Nest Lair and build the Eshin building then? I was thinking that 7th Circle would have more sort of... I'll just see here. Do we want the Warpstone reactor here? In theory, you want this everywhere, but I fear that Hell Pit might actually not be a particularly good place to use it. I'll think about it. We may want to just build a warp turbine plant here or something. I mean, admittedly, we'll probably want to build stuff here in 4th Circle as well, but anyway. And the storage cave's probably not doing so much for us right now, so let's delete those and replace them with a military structure, at the very least to more quickly acquire Night Runners and Gutter Runners. As we do have an assassin, sort of centric, but, you know, with a Moulder flair, with some monstrous units as well. Army that's going to be up and running shortly. Anyway, no regiments of renown as yet, and no levels that we need to consider, at least with you. You, little assassin, will want to move towards concealment bombs and shuriken jutsu as soon as possible, but nonetheless you'll still want inspiring presence. So we'll start with that. Alrighty, I guess you are going to go into regular stance now, and... Oh, that's a question. We do have some decent defenders, but... Well, you know what, let's see if we can't get a ambush going. If we can, we'll just ambush. If we can't, we'll fight, I guess. Hey, we got the ambush. Alright, that means we can auto-resolve and just hope that the Rat Ogres don't get too badly damaged, or the Mutant Rat Ogres, to be specific. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, they took a little bit of hurt, but we got an obsidian blade out of it. Very nice. Alright, I'll certainly take it. This means I think... Well, again, the replenishment doesn't really help us here, does it? Tiny bit. Screw it. Sell off. Alright, that means we're going for 6th Circle, and Throt will be hitting harder. What level does he need to be? Oh, wow, 14 for the Brute Horror. Alright, well, that's going to take a bit. You're going to go to 6th Circle, then. And we will... Wait, can we put you into defensive stance? We're going to be fighting damaged for a while, but that's... well, it's not liable to change anytime soon. Alrighty, and I doubt that this guy's going to attack us. Ooh, also, we need to pick a new tech. Slave Force 2 will take a while. I'm going to say entrance. I don't dislike the idea of getting fight dirty early on as well, and hit and run. Speed will always be nice on infantry, although, funnily enough, in the super early game, speed can be a detriment if your rats are sort of fleeing off the battlefield super quick. Oh, they got a skull cannon. Oh, okay, that's going to be annoying. Alright, we're going to need to actually charge them then. Alright, fair enough, go. Alrighty, here we go. A much smaller fight than previous, I'll admit, but our ringers, our mutant rat ogres, are heavily damaged and thus not liable to be able to participate too well. Plus, of course, the enemy has those skull cannons, which especially in SFO are devastatingly effective units, and frankly, every shot that misses is a good thing for us. Now, when you start the battle off with the Vanguard deployed Night Runners firing their slings at the Bloodletters of Khorne, doing a solid 40% of their damage before the Rat Ogres and Throt arrive, smashing through their lines, and though the lack of magical damage will mean it won't be a crazy amount of damage, it's good because the Rat Ogres weren't going for them. Anyway, we're going to try to charge on through and get to those darn units of Skull Cannons. And now it looks like our Rat Ogres have unfortunately been forced to engage by the combination of Bloodletters and Doggos charging them. Now these are summoned Rat Ogres, so we don't actually care what happens to them, and we're just going to have to try to distract those Skull Cannons for as long as we can. Otherwise, we have once again set up our Skaven slaves in front of the Clan Rat, similar to the zombie and skeleton warrior tactic you would use when playing the undead. It's easy to tire the enemy out with cutting down those droves of Skaven slaves before sending in your units, your other units, even if they're only slightly better. On the bright side, though, again, it's a relatively small fight, and the bounce power is already at about 85% in our favor. We have been working primarily on the flanks with our monsters, such that most of the enemy doggos have been destroyed, and have now at last managed to make our way towards those skull cannons. Otherwise, Throt is still in the very center of the battlefield, fighting the enemy. Is it a Blood Reaper? It is a Blood Reaper. Fighting the enemy Blood Reaper and his coterie of Bloodletters here. And our range units have finally begun to be able to draw close enough to start focusing those units of Skull Cannons. That said, with 99 armor on them and the relative lack of armor-piercing damage on Night Runner slings, and especially Skaven slave slings, we're not going to do too much damage in that manner. That said, we do have the Wolf Rats here, and once again, the Wolf Rats do armor-piercing damage, which is a kind of like Dwarf Miners in the sense that they're cheap and easy to acquire, and allows you to have some early-game armor pierce, which is much needed. Bounce power shifts to about 98% in our favor. More slings keep coming down on those skull cannons. Lastly, the enemy units of Bloodletters being overrun by the combination of Skaven Slaves, Clan Rats, and the Rat Ogres interspersed amongst them. Time to close the distance with the enemy cannons now. And ooh, big ol' jumping leap forward or belly flop into our own ranks from that Rat Ogre. And it looks like a couple more hits will bring the... I like how they both went in opposite directions. And ooh, another belly flop to delete the last of these skull cannons. It's a pretty entertaining animation, but with that, this little fight is done. Alright, very nice, very nice. So far we're more or less just using the admittedly tried and true tactics of drowning the enemy in bodies, but, well, our luck will probably run out eventually. Probably when we hit Slaanesh, ironically enough, the irony being that you'd think they'd like the drowning in bodies tactic, but anyway, the fact that they can mince infantry super quickly will probably prove too much for the Clan Rats and the Skaven Slaves alone, so we'll need a little bit more for that. Fortunately, by then I imagine we'll have Night Runners and such. Anyway, we will occupy the place at Tier 1. It's either Tier 1 or Tier 3, nothing in between is the best way to do it. Or we don't bother with Tier 3, considering it'll completely cripple our food levels and just maintain the plentiful food. The casualty or punishment alone is a really, worthy thing to have. The other thing is... Okay, let's occupy this. The other thing about this is this. We'll be able to raise and sack once we have beginning, as we... Well, but it'll take a little bit of a time to get it. The other thing is that it costs food to get a few of these techs. We'll need to expend 50 to get to Tunnel Expansion 1 and 2, which are definitely going to be necessary early in the game, as we want the bonus control from Order and then Flesh Crafting, well, and especially Flesh Crafting for the casualty replenishment rate, as it's really quite necessary. For now, though, we're looking okay. What do we have at 4th Circle? Ooh, they'll be up to tier 2, so we'll probably get something a little bit more defendy than what we've been working with. Throt, you unfortunately cannot recruit anymore. Though what we can do is this. Join you, and then join you, and then recruit and recruit. At the very least. And we'll most likely keep recruiting next turn. Oh, we're probably going to have to go back to get the... to get some more Night Runners. But it is what it is. Packmaster, you need to be rank 9 to get these, so we'll start saving at some point soon. But I think maybe we'll just keep on saving points for now, generally speaking. There's a bunch of stuff that you need in your unique lines. Replenish troops. Wait. Unlocks hero action, replenish troops. Oh, if we want to get Flesh Snatcher, it'll probably mean we'll want to leave the army and... oh. And then Scavenge will have been a wasted point because I'm pretty sure you can't use both. Well, isn't that unfortunate? I mean, I guess I wasn't going to keep this guy in this army anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but nonetheless, still unfortunate. Anyway, you're gonna get elusive for now, I think. Like so. And we'll uncollect the income here because, I mean, we basically make no income here anyway, and the control is not so great because of the Coronate Corruption, but I'm sure we'll out-ratify that corruption rather quickly. Skaven Corruption is actually dropping due to the presence of the Corn Corruption. Not for long, I'd wager, though. Nurglite Corruption is dropping in this territory, and... okay, we get no additional corruption out of the lower levels of Hell Pit, but fair enough. 6th Circle. We could grab another clan barracks here, if nothing else, just for the additional capacities, but I fear that we're going to need early game storage caves, as in the giant fungi caverns, as in the food, fairly quickly. On the other hand, we'll want a Pox Cauldron ASAP. In fact, we'll probably have to build one at least in the... oh! We actually won't be able to get a Plague Priest until... actually, I assume we're going to start with 2 capacities of all of them? So we'll probably want to build one at 7th Circle, recruit the heroes, and then delete it. Depending on how quickly it takes us to get to 4th Circle. Well, either way, we'll get there when we get there. Let's end the turn for now. Alright, growth batch available, our first one, but that one only gives us doggos, our wolf rats, and I feel like it's not worth using it on this. We probably better off just keeping on growing until we reach either mutant rat ogres or regular rat ogres. I'll think about it. Either way, let's give this a read at least one time. Fully grown monster specimens have formed within the growth vat and are ready to be released, should you wish. The longer a batch is left to grow, however, the better the quality of the units grown. More advanced batches will only result in negligible increases of mutagen byproduct. So you want to get the early ones in order to spam mutagen, but you want to get the late ones in order to get units. And in the early game, I'd wager the units are going to be more important. Anyway, Throt, you are able to immediately reach the 5th Circle. Oh, I can immediately upgrade you as well. Yes, do it. Probably still gonna need the food. We'll need another army up and running as well. We could decorruptify this a little bit with a rubbish pit and then swap it out afterwards as well. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. Our rubbish pit first, then we'll replace it. Throt, you're gonna proceed to 5th Circle, and then you, Rakronid, 10 Scratch, you're going to reinforce, and... darn, we got another skull cannon. Alright, well, we're just gonna have to deal. Those guys are very annoying for us to deal with in the early game. Anyway, you're gonna go here. I wonder. Would you be able to reinforce? Maybe. Alright, I'm gonna risk it and hope that this doesn't screw us over. Alright, 8th Circle. You are definitely building the hidden lair. Lovely. And... I could set up another army out here in order to farm rebellions, depending on if that's the way that we want to play it, but I'll think about it. Either way, are you able to reinforce? You are. Lovely. And Packmaster, you will save your points. You are saving your points. I guess everybody's saving their points. Let's go for another fight then. Go. Lots of fighting right now, but isn't it great? Go.
Fight for Throt! You not fail! lose. Go.
All right. I love the psychotic laughter from Throt. I mean, all the Skaven are pretty darn entertaining, but yeah. Anyway, here we go again. I know that it's another, well, let's say relatively small fight. We got better units than we fought last time, wherein last time the enemy had just giant pile of doggos, but here we have lots of bloodletters, plus that skull cannon, of course, so we're definitely going to have to work for this victory considerably more. That said, for those getting antsy about, let's say, smaller battles, it's the first episode, and we gotta fight these, but eventually these smaller ones will become auto-resolvable. Anyway, the bloodletters charge on forth to try to catch our Night Runners, though they charge at 50 speed, we at 48, should be just fast enough to get away from them, and then chuck some Skaven slaves at them and get in their way, and then deal with the other more critical units instead. Over all the way on the left flank, we have sent both of our units of Rat Ogres to try, well, they were actually going after the Flesh Hounds here, but it looks like they caught a regular unit of Warhounds first, so we'll work our way through them with the combination of the Skaven from the menace below to take the hits, and then get ready to hit those Flesh Hounds as well with the help of the regular Rat Ogres, while our main army sort of shadows the enemy army and gets ready to fight. It looks like the enemy is wise to this plan and will send a unit of Bloodletters over this way, so we do have to be careful about allowing the mutant Rat Ogres, pretty darn badly beat up as they already are. I mean, they started the battle damaged, heavily damaged. You just gotta be careful about them getting surrounded by bloodletters and flesh hounds. Especially Flesh Hounds. That's a pretty devastating combination. Anyway, looks like one of our unit of Skaven Slave Spears gets pretty much obliterated by the Skull Cannon fire, and we have no spare units as yet to send towards them. Over in the tree line, however, the Bloodletters have been met by piles of Skaven Slaves, and once again the Rat Ogres interspersed among them, led personally by Throt himself. Still on foot, though I'd wager not for too much longer. I fear that we will probably be ending this episode with him still on foot, but I'd wager he'll get his Brood Horror next episode, and thus be able to sort of run down enemies a lot better. Anyway, looks like we try to head a unit of Clan Rats towards those Skull Cannons, but they're tearing through them. 2 volleys takes about, 40% of their HP, so it ain't great. On the bright side, though, the enemy Flesh Hounds have been pretty much destroyed. The AI attempts to cycle charge out with them, but the Rat Ogres are able to keep pace and thus destroy them. Flesh Hounds are amazing units, but they are fairly fragile after all. Over on this side, we've used the menace below to get behind the enemy unit and thus force them to turn away from us and allow our slings to hit the enemy bloodletters in the flanks and back, which is working quite well. Over in the center, we're distracting one of the enemy Blood Reapers with a unit of Clan Rat Spears, while we head more units towards those Skull Cannons. Funnily enough, they're almost out of skulls to shoot at us, but they've racked up a solid 277 kills and 28,000 damage. Gonna knock back some of those Rat Ogres, but the Rat Ogres will keep on charging and are soon to be joined by those armor-piercing doggos of ours. The Wolf Rats, I mean. They're not really dogs, you know what I mean. They're a Warhound-type unit. Alright, tactically not much more to say. The battle lines are joined. I see a Warp Lightning coming down from our Warp Lightning having doggos somewhere. Wolf Rats. And I don't know why this enemy lord seems to be fighting a tree. There's he lost his glasses, guys. Or maybe he's got he had a Visitath Aloran at some point and now is just suffering from PTSD at seeing a tree. Anyway, I mean, you would too. Anyway, the balance of power is at about 90% in our favor. Throt and the Chaos Lord of Khorne are still in the fight, though the enemy Blood Reaper has pretty much been destroyed over time, slowly but surely overrun and banished by a unit of Clan Rat Spears. Kind of impressive. It did kill off 40% of their HP, but that's still pretty darn good, you gotta admit. But Blood Reapers can be pretty darn fragile as well, especially in the early game without points. Anyway, with the fall of the Blood Reaper, the destruction of the Skull Cannons, and now the enemy Chaos Lord routing, it looks like the battle is pretty much ours. Just gonna have to work on the last of the units of Bloodletters within the tree line. Slings sort of exploding through the trees. Well, I guess it's not like bullets where they'd be exploding through the trees, more like bouncing off them, but I suppose it doesn't matter over much. Not like any of the Bloodletters will be around to say anything about it. Anyway, with that, the last of the enemies are banished and the battle is ours. A close victory, and surely we did take damage, especially due to those darn skull cannons. But yeah, I still find it hilarious that arguably the best Chaos Artillery piece, with the exception of the Soul Grinders of Nurgle, is a Cornate Artillery piece, but Corn does good work. Alright, there we go. We lost 1,000 troops to kill 800 of theirs, and Skaven-wise, that's a pretty darn good trade, so we'll certainly take it. Lovely. And damage-wise, let's see. Looks like the Wolf Rats actually did fairly well, though once again, these guys are a liability, as the Warp Lightning Rod seems to do more damage to us than it does to the enemies, so most likely what we'll then do is just to recycle this guy as soon as we can. And it will give us additional growth juice, so once we're ready to sort of pump somebody up, then we'll do that. Anyway, we'll just loot and occupy it at tier 1 again, as there's no need to do otherwise. Hey, free engineering student. Warp fire throwers, rattling guns, poison winds, poison wind mortars, and death globes. Don't have any of those in this army as yet, but it'll change eventually. Anyway, let's continue decorruptifying this place. Mostly because it's the... Actually, does this doesn't do anything to our control, does it? Given corruption? No, it doesn't. So you know what? Maybe we don't even need to decorruptify. Screw that. Let us instead go for food storage caves. I'd like to build at least... What are we at here? 107, eh? I'd like to get Tunnel Expansion 1 up and running as fast as possible. In fact, what I probably should have done is built Entrance before Slave Force 1 in order to get this, and then, you know, hurry up the food. I don't really want to drop down to tier 0 because the growth right now is being really, really useful, and I'd like to keep it. And the additional control will also mean additional growth, though with expansion is planning up and running, there isn't too much that we can do about that. At least not as yet. Anyway, enemy killed in battle. Ooh, armor of silvered steel plus 40 armor. You know what? You can keep that. That's not so bad. An arrival hide talisman. Melee attack minus 10. I mean, I guess we'll give this to, let's say, the chieftain for now. We'll see. Provide that debuff. Actually, speaking of the chieftain, let's get your training up and running. You are saving your points, and Throt is saving his until 12. 13th scheme unlocked. We won't be able to use it as yet, and there's no need. We have 3 more turns of the dominating scheme, so we gotta make sure that we build some stuff before that thing is up and running. As in, queue some recruitment. Oh, also, I want to double check. Okay, nothing new out of these guys? No, and we'll need more heroes, but we'll need to actually build the buildings that will allow us to do so, that the Warren will be up and running shortly, so that's good. Throt, I'd like you to join those units together. You can't go into a camp, unfortunately, and we don't want to take additional attrition, so we won't, won't do this, but we'll do this with Throt. I didn't mean click that. Disband, my bad. Alright, and then we'll... Oh! That reduced the amount, didn't it? Well, that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Not much we can do about it now. It's because of the deletion of whatever building that was giving us that. But that's alright. We've got Hidden Lair up and running next turn, and you can build in, I guess, 8th circle and then jump to 4th circle with the rest of these guys. And we'll use a frontline rat to do it for the additional armor. It'll be helpful, though admittedly we don't have a caster as yet, and I'd love to get one of these guys up and running as well. It's just that I'm not so sure about any of these traits. The Doomflayers I'd like to get on field rather quickly as well, but they're rather expensive. 275 was it? I recall them costing the same amount as Storm Vermin. 300. Okay, so slightly more than Stormvermin, who cost 275. So they're a little bit rich for our blood for now, especially since we'll want to be using more rat ogres shortly. But we'll get them going soon as well. So then I should giggle. And let's end the turn. Wait. Diplomacy. Let's check that again. I imagine nothing. Funnily enough, Slaanesh, while we will be attacking them, because, I mean, we have to own the entirety of the Helpit, Slaanesh is probably a pretty good ally for the Skaven. Their troops, not so much, but the fact that they're a Chaos faction that can trade means that's pretty good. Anyway, end turn. Alright, growth bed vetch available. We are now at Rat Ogres, eh? What's the next one? Wait, no, don't claim. The next one is Mutant Rat Ogres, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah. Alright, we'll get there. No, actually, no, the next one's Brood Horror Cluster. We might go all the way. Slaanesh should giggle. Let's also start moving towards the 4th circle, and then maybe... Well, I guess we can't really recruit anything here as of yet. Does this provide any additional Skaven save capacity? It does. We can at least build some Skaven saves. Actually, speaking of building, go for the Nest Layer here, go for the Warren here, and that's it. But in 2 turns, we'll be good. Then, in 8th circle, we will go to the Warlord, grab that frontline rat, and then pop him in. It will mean loss of food, but, well, there's not much you can do about it. We want Night Runners. We'll upgrade them to Gutter Runners, but they will make up a significant portion of our strength for now, so let's get some more Night Runners with slings and some Shuriken Chuckers as well. You, Throt, go into offensive and camp. And then you can follow an offensive and camp as well. Ooh, no, stop. Ah. Well, actually, we'll just use you to recruit. I was going to say we need Throt to recruit stuff, but now just spam whatever Skaven slaves you can. Lovely. Alright, it's going to cost us more food, but it is what it is to have 3 armies, so we'll be losing 15 per turn now. But it looks like we can outdo it because of the dominant scheme for 2 more turns. Well, anyway, yeah, we want to build up the Knight and Gutter Runners, and we'll probably want to give some other units in here. We'll build some Poison Wolf Rats while we can recruit them. Because this will be gone before this is up and running, which is a shame, but, well, it is what it is. Anyway, skip, and turn. Alright, 6th circle, negative growth, and that's unfortunate, but at least... Wait, where's 6th circle? Yeah, okay, at least it isn't in the pit bottom where we wanted the growth more, so that'll be just fine. And, oh, I see Coordinate Corruption is still up and running. At least it doesn't cause us any public order issues. I imagine that the reason for that is obviously, I mean, while we see these as normal cities, the Skaven cities are actually underground beneath the ruins that are here, and the corruption doesn't penetrate down into the down below. Anyway, Grand Banner of Clan Superiority, melee tech +5, not bad. Recruit 30 units. Oh, we just recruited like 1 billion units. Game, why you rude? Alright, we got 1 turn to recruit what we need. For now, we won't be able to summon too many wolf rats, and I want to replace the one... Well, actually, this one will want to upgrade to a... Wait, let me just see here. Can you reach 4th circle? You can. Throt. We do still suffer Chaos, Corruption, Attrition, though, but anyway. We need rank 3, so we could upgrade this wolf rat. Oh, okay, yeah, so I want to do this right now, because I want to see if you keep the augment or not. I'm just curious. And you do not. Okay, so doing that deletes them. That's good to know for the future. So if we want to upgrade a specific unit in the future, we don't want to then use that. Anyway, Throt, you're going to besiege the 4th circle now. And I do notice once again that Jehudiel is moving towards us. I bet you will be willing to sally out. Alright, good. Although we will probably suffer severe damage if you do. And that'll make it a little bit more dangerous, depending on what Slaanesh does and how they react. You would be able to reinforce, yes? Though I do wonder if that will prevent the enemy from sallying out. You... so we're gonna get rid of this one. Recycle it, rather. We are going to want to grab, I don't know, let's say 3 Poison Wolf Rats. For now. And then let's get a couple more Night Runners with shurikens, one more Night Runners with slings. That'll give us 5. And well, you know what, let's get another Night Runners with, shurikens, not slings. Alrighty. Starting up on that Eshin and Moulder army. And we'll have to figure out what kind of Moulder monsters we want in there and what other things we want to do with this army. Should be fun. Anyway, other than that, there's no buildings to be building. All we gotta do is end the turn. And okay, let's actually double check. Yeah, still saving your points. Man, you're gonna be a while before you get to apply those, ain't you? I mean, what can you do? What can you do? Skip, skip, and turn. Hey, they will indeed sally out, and that works out nicely for us. I mean, it's unsurprising if the roles were reversed and we had all these bloodletters and stuff against primarily Skaven slaves and clan rats, and actually barely any clan rats, but anyway, I think there's good reason to do that. Enemy also has Relentless Rage and Horn of Corn, neither of which we care that much about. It's the bloodletter summoning that's the more annoying. Anyway, go.
Warpstone commands!
Alrighty, here we go again. Our army grows and becomes stronger, but funnily enough, even though the Khornates are pretty much done, their armies do as well. I guess the first army we fought of theirs was the strongest, and this one will probably be the second strongest. Lots and lots of fast movers here, plenty of bloodletters, and of course those skull cannons, which were so devastating in the previous fight. Anyway, we're deploying in such a way that we can run towards where our reinforcements are going to make their way onto the battlefield. It's not much, but, you know, an extra 10 units or 9 units will still be pretty darn useful, especially with most of those being Skaven slaves to send into the enemy blades in order to tire them out, as one does. Enemy fast movers are going to close the distance, and we'll take a couple of belly flops from Morskatar's Hellion and the other mutant rat ogre. Oh, look at them. They're buddies. Fighting back to back. Anyway, the good thing is that they took the charge here, and on top of that forced all of the enemy doggos to engage, which means we can now surround them and hopefully overrun them with our other rat ogres and plenty of clan rats and Skaven slaves as well. The rest of our main line will form up and get ready for the arrival of the enemy units, even as we take fire from those skull cannons. Ooh, looks like a skull cannon shot knocked that rat ogre down. He down, but he's not out, though, at about 60% HP. We do have to be careful. Ooh, another hit. Damn. Huh. What's your mass? It's 2.5k, which is pretty solid. Huh. Kind of impressed that or surprised maybe that these skull cannons can actually knock them down, especially the mutant rat ogres. The regular little rat ogres, sure. I mean, they're not that much bigger than a flesh hound. But the big boys, it's a little surprising. Anyway, the doggos are having a bad time, but our front line isn't having a great time either, as the piles of bloodletters charge towards us with the rest of the enemy doggos, and the enemy is led by a blood speaker who uses its murderous his murderous exhortations to dish out some damage, I'm sure. 3.7k. Blood sacrifice, murderous exhortations. Ooh, and the leadership reduction probably ain't so great for us either. Especially if he manages to use it again. Anyway, bloodletters will be cutting down the clan rats and Skaven slaves in droves, but that's alright. That's what they're here for. Just keeping them back and distracted while our damage dealers obliterate the enemy fast movers. In the meantime, our wolf rats, as well as a unit of summoned clan rats and soon a unit of rat ogres, have reached those skull cannons. Unlike the last fight, they've got only 154 kills, 55 now. And about 30,000 damage. They killed twice as much last time, though they did do plenty of damage here nonetheless. I guess it's because they were firing at the rat ogres, so they have a higher damage than kill count. If they were firing against at our clan rats and such. Makes sense to me. Anyway, it's taking a little bit of time to bring him down, so we're going to make it go by a little bit faster as we charge on in with one of our mutant rat ogres. And there we go, bringing down the first of those motorcycles, and the rest should follow shortly. The doggos have been destroyed, and though the bloodletters still remain, this is exactly what we wanted, as we can now charge into their rear and flanks and take advantage of the fact that they have no more recourse. No way to deal with our fast movers, nor our mutant rat ogres, I'd wager. This one using its mass to get through the enemy lines and head directly towards that blood speaker. The faster we bring it down, the less likely it'll be able to activate that leadership reduction. And the damage we probably care a little bit less about than half our army running away. And it looks like the Blood Speaker stands little to no chance against the Morskatars Hellion here, who with one more hit will bring him down. Oh, okay, apparently he's gonna miss that hit, and now he'll oh my, okay. I was annoyed that he didn't do it on cue, but the warp stone explosion there as the guy lost his top half was pretty good, so I'm mollified. Either way, it looks like with the fall of the Blood Speaker, no one left to cast a ritual and summon more bloodletters on the field. The enemy army is pretty much done. And it's not like he led any Wrathmongers into battle. Oh man, a unit of Wrathmongers would have absolutely made mincemeat of so many Skaven slaves and clan rats. But I guess we could have still, if it was only one unit, we could have still committed both of our mutant rat ogres to tear them into shreds in the same way that we did when we first fought the Cornate faction and had to deal with those armored Chaos Warriors with dual axes. Anyway, another close victory, but I'd wager in the early game we're going to get a lot of those, as we will always have to sacrifice droves of infantry to get wins, but win we shall. Alright, very nice. A little bit more of that growth juice, a little bit more food, though we're maxed out right now, so that's not doing too much, but, well, we're about to start using it on some research, so that's fine. Decent bit of money, and otherwise, nice battle. Level 8, alright, 4 more to go for Throt to actually use his points, and I think we'll keep collecting them. Alright, we will occupy the place. We could once again occupy it at tier 3. It'll take us down to orange, though, which will mean probably like 10 turns where we get a minus, effectively 60 less growth than we currently have, and I'm just of the opinion that it's not worth it. Later in the game, when we have a lot, that's probably going to be worth it. Right now, I think this is the better pick. And yeah, so the other way is to keep it negative and then get growth, or no, ignore the growth and just spam food via the rebellion farming. Yeah, I'm not so sure. The thing is, the problem with rebellion farming is that sometimes it requires, you know, fighting it manually because the auto-resolve is a jerk face, and the issue with that obviously being that, well, we'd quickly grow tired of piles and piles of basic rebel armies. So anyway, we'll loot and occupy this for now at tier 1. Alright, now, we've unlocked the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, which is nice. They're not going to be crazy useful to us in the immediate, but one of the upgrades, let me just see here. One of the upgrades, I think, for monsters. How do I... Can I not go to that from this menu? Wait a moment. Faction destroyed Insensate Rage. Well, they're just truly insensate now. Oh, it's this way. Okay, yeah. Select units on the augment panel. There is something here. This. Propane Perspiration. Monsters can be given flaming attacks and area weakness, admittedly to both us and to the enemy, but combining fire monsters with some warp fire throwers and such, I think will be quite nice, and we'll put the Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers in that army. For now, Throt's going to use them, but eventually. Alright, how are we doing for upkeep? Okay, so right now our upkeep is low enough that we can't afford anything other than additional Skaven slaves, but that's fine. You are going to jump up here. There's no more need for recruitment. And what we do want is, ooh, we get Rat Ogre access now. That's nice. Funnily enough, we probably will want to recruit those, but anyway. The other thing is, we'll need to waste some money either getting some Plague Monks. I'm gonna say Plague Monks. Start with a Plague Monk, and just out of curiosity. Or Plague Priest, whatever. They have Scouting, eh? No, we still want them. We don't have a caster in our army. We could go for the Warlock Engineer as well, but it's not going to be as useful in this particular army, so I'm inclined to say build the Pox Cauldron, then delete the Pox Cauldron after we've summoned some of these guys. And we start collecting the bells, obviously, as well. Anyway, let's upgrade 8th Circle, probably more critical than the other one, so that we can get Gutter Runners, although they're a little bit on the too expensive side for now. That's not going to be forever. Ooh, 3,000 gold for a Warren. Alright, fine, fair enough. We're getting mileage out of all this growth that we're getting. You can also go for the Nest Layer here. And I guess since we're doing it with the storage caves here, this might be a sort of food-making province, at least for now. Slaanesh doesn't have any kind of, you know, digging, tunneling sort of stance, does it? I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I wouldn't think that it would, it's just that, you know, the ogres have ogre tunneling now, so, you know, who knows. Anyway, do we want to replace any of the Skaven saves? They're actually going to more or less heal up, so you're probably fine. You're going to go up here, and, ooh. So, if we recycle you, we'll award 50 growth juice. Huh. So we'll need to use another 25 growth juice for somebody else. I guess we can keep these Rat Ogres. I can at least buff you up slightly. Again, with the Razor Claw Grafts, give them a little bit higher attack, although I don't dislike the idea of giving them Vanguard deployment either. Wait, this gives a random uncommon augments applied +2, meaning it would, it would immediately give us lobotomy. No, none of that. It's too much of a negative. I do like the synaptic response stimuli as well for the physical resistance. Ooh, mammoth skin clothing, that's real good. But for now, I think we'll move towards... Alright, there's also Guardian. Alright, fine. We'll go for this. Warp Fuel Infusion.
If not work,
and otherwise, we will stay as we are. We still gotta unlock the rest of them, of course, so everybody's gonna have to have some different ones. But for now, you can leave. We'll get our growth juice back, or our mutagen back, and then we gotta remember to use it before we pump out the other mutant rat ogres via the recruitment thing. Yeah, so you're gonna get recycled. Goodbye. No more damaging us with those darn warp lightnings. Then you are going to swap out those Night Runner slings, though I do like them here, and then Throt will get... yeah, I think like that. Swap in this Clan Rat, take out the Skaven Slave Slinger. Like so. Then, Skitice, you are going to swap into Throt, like so. You are going to trade him the Wolf Rats, like so. And then you are going to grab from Skitice, next turn, I guess, all of these guys. Lovely. And then we'll... we should actually swap these guys to regular Skaven slaves rather than slingers, since we'll have enough range in this army for now, anyway. Otherwise, I think we're pretty okay. We'll raid the Slaaneshi a little bit, maybe, before they declare war on us.
Absolute.
They are upgrading their territories as well, but that's also probably fine. We are doing the same. We may as well grow. Though we're starting to run out of cash, and we do have to be careful. Ooh, Sarthorael. Oh. I wonder if he immediately has access to the annoying abilities. I also wonder whether we should ignore him for now. And then eventually betray him. Seems the Skavenly thing to do. If we declare war on the Robswin clan, okay, you know what? We'll ignore him for now, maybe. Kill the Slaaneshi. And then maybe jump over to Bordkarag. We could make use out of the expanded Raven Shafnaz out of Cracker Ravensfuck. Admittedly, we could also trade with Norska. want to check something. How do we feel about Aha? So it is still unpleasant and chaotic wasteland, meaning we want to leave the Norskins to that. Or the demons, whoever. And grab the other stuff in the Kislev ourselves, which, you know, fair enough. Alrighty, the rest of that is looking good. So skip, commandment available. Ooh, I didn't do that. Did we go for growth? Oh, 4th circle will rebel next turn. I didn't even realize. Oh, I should not then have moved you all away. Well, hopefully it doesn't immediately die, because it might, because it's just very high likelihood, in fact. Damn. I did not realize you... Oh, actually, no, we got 1 turn. We're safe for the turn. Alright, we'll let it rebel next turn then. Switch to expansionist planning. Alright, good enough. Alright, hey, we dig. Alright, beautiful. Help it to... Oh, really? Help it itself? Wait. Oh, no, Help it is this province. Okay, I was like, I confused it with Pit Bottom. Imminent Rebellion, and that's fine. Scheme of Doom unlocked. Do we get another Armor of Silvered Steel for winning battles with a single hero, which is also fine. Alrighty, then, Mr. Throt, you are going to go right here. I guess we'll wait. You can pop into this territory, like this, and then you can you recruit any more Skaven slaves? Yes, recruit more Skaven slaves, all of them. And then you can swap. I should have waited. Can you be in an encamp stance? No, you can't. Well, darn. Alright, then take some of the Skaven slaves, which will inevitably get hurt here, but it is what it is. Take the ones that are least hurt, I guess. Like this. Lovely. Alright, good enough. And yeah, okay, you're maxed out. I was wondering if we could swap troops, but it's all good. We could actually wait. Actually, you could do this. Raid your own territory, collect the income for the... Oh, it doesn't do anything because we have 0 income here. Fair enough. Just start generating some food. This place will need to start collecting income soon. Alright, so we'll need to do this. So you... Let's see what we got here. Alert Watchful. Okay, so we have heroes available now, which we'll need to... I don't like the fact that we're negative, but it is what it is. Daggers in the Dark, Missile Resistance, Enemy Leadership. Silent Executioner. Cooldown minus 50% to Assassin's Trophy. I mean, I don't dislike the cooldown reduction. I wish I could see what the other traits are for these guys, though. That would be nice. Pack Hunter, no. Lucky Whiskers. Upkeep reduction for Lords and Heroes. Income from sacking. And passive ability bolstered defense. Obviously this one. Poxbringer. Alright, and then you're going to pop into Throt's army. We have Sorcerers, Hideous Stench. That's not bad. Ooh, Winds of Magic minus 20. Yes, Scabbed Scarred. Alright, obviously you and your horrific expense. Alright, we'll do that. Then we will delete the Pox Cauldron. And then we will replace it with a public order building here, maybe? I mean, I suppose if we take out expansionist planning, we will regain the control. The problem there is that we need to collect the money from this particular location, and thus I think we're going to need control anyway. But temporarily, we'll get a Warlock Engineer just to pop him into probably this army. Oh, would be nice to have an Eshin Sorcerer as well. What do we... I take it needs to be tier 3? It needs to be tier 4 before we can get a single Eshin Sorcerer? Oh, wow, okay, well, that's not happening. At least it's not happening anytime soon. Oh, well, what can you do? Tunnel Expansion 1. We will do it, but I think next turn our food is perfectly even right now, so we need to start raiding as we move through Slaneshi territory before we activate that. So in the meantime... food force. But anyway, in the meantime, I guess we'll go for Ferocious Plans. It only takes the 1 turn. Which is perfect. Alright, the rest of this is good. You're going to rebel, and it'll be a little Cornate Rebellion, and that one we can deal with. We have another 9 turns until we can activate the Dominating Scheme. Scheme of Doom doesn't really help us at the current time. And the rest of this is fine. We could pop the 13th Scheme, but I think it's kind of a waste right now, even with the upkeep reduction. Alright, skip, and... yeah, just a double check. No more of these guys that we need right now. We could get another assassin, it's just that I don't like these traits. Well, you know what? At least we can mill one. They're pretty cheap to recruit and cheap to upkeep, so we'll grab a Silent Executioner for now, and then we'll see what else we have as options. Trait-wise, I mean. We do need several assassins in the army with the little Eshin army, because we have the buffs to all the Eshin units on them, so we'll need several of these guys. Oh, this one only buffs Death Runners? I'll probably pop a couple of them in there. But with the monsters, obviously. Alright, anyway. Oh, we'll need to have somebody jump down here to grab you. Probably the guy that we were using to recruit anyway, in turn. Alright, you have emptied the... Huh? I'm pretty sure I didn't click this. Huh. Wait, did it automatically do it? Does it... Huh, okay, I gotta give this a read. Empty the growth vat instantly to come... Did I accidentally click this, or does it automatically do this at some point? I have no idea. Oh, maybe it's because we didn't get any growth juice for a turn? Is that what the case is? Well, whatever. We got a Hell Pit Abomination. I assume it didn't reach its max. A couple of Rat Ogres, Brute Horror. Ah, damn, I wanted a Mutant Rat Ogre, but whatever. At least we got some good stuff in there. Rebellion at the Hell Pit, yes. And Ferocious Plans researched. Treasury, Talisman of Preservations, Rangers, Axie. Ooh, Talisman of Preservation. Throt likey. Speaking of Throt, let us first grab Tunnel Expansion. Yeah, let's go for Tunnel Expansion. I really want to move towards Order and stuff. We're at 35 Rad Force as well, so we will be able to unlock one of these shortly. Then we will move... What is the cost? Ooh, the recruitment is free. Oh, that's fantastic. I don't think the recruitment would be free, but that's real nice. I don't really care for the Brood Horror because it's just... There's no real point because the Packmasters get Brood Horrors, but whatever. Anyway, you guys are going to reinforce Throt, so go into... Well, whatever, I don't really care what stance you're in right now. Just need to make sure that you leech the XP, so go here, and then Throt kill. Am I missing anything? We use the food and... Oh, what? Oh, it doesn't get used up until... Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Well, whatever. I assumed it would get used up immediately, but apparently not the case. Anyway, we can auto-resolve like so, no problem. Yeah, not a lot of damage, and we'll take the money, which we really need. I guess we get more use out of the scavenging in this army after all than the healing. Alright, another armor of silvered steel, which is lovely. Anyway, Throt, I would like you to go into... I guess in camp as we start moving through Slaaneshi territory, but we will raid as we do. You can do the same. You can hold on to those... clan rats. You can maybe spend one turn in this, and you can do the same. Actually, well, move slightly. They'll follow Throt afterwards. We'll do some raiding, and then we'll send you down to pick up the heroes, which are going to be right here. Here, and I do want to keep paying attention to what we got otherwise. We will also want to get the Taskmaster's platform here. No choice in the matter. At least if we want to collect the money here, which we most definitely do. We got another one with Rat Acrobatics, which is fine. We got... Hello. Vermin Vanguard. That's probably better as the assassins. Yeah, let's do Vermin Vanguard. We'll go for you. I forgot what the other one we took was, but I guess it doesn't really matter right now. Ooh, and we got the Deathbringer one, the Bolstered Attack. We need more capacity for these. Meaning... but they should be built in the main settlements, shouldn't they? Yeah. Well, I guess we could still build them here if we no longer need the food. At the point that we no longer need the food. We also need to switch, I think, back to public order. Otherwise the place will rebel, which is fine. Well, actually, wait, maybe we just let it rebel again so these guys can take it out. Yeah, you know what? We can use one territory to farm rebellions. The lack of growth isn't a huge deal, so yeah, collect income, keep it negative then. And then you can raid our own territory. Like so. And then you can raid it as well, which should thereby guarantee that. Alright. And then you can move to grab these guys afterwards. Oh, speaking of these guys, I believe we're good. No sorcerer, we're building the public order building here, and the public order is fine. I don't think we want to spend the 3,000 gold on this Warren right now, or the Assassin's Hideout, meaning I think we will, at least for now, switch to efficient planning and then start collecting the income so that we are not negative at least. Alrighty, and then otherwise we are good to go. End turn. Alright, mutagen degeneration. Oh, I didn't know that happened either. Some of your excess mutagen which could not be properly stored is decayed into uselessness. Now it's because, yeah, we need to keep it at 100. Yeah, fair enough. Your standard capacity is 100, but it can be expanded to 200 once the flesh laboratory has been upgraded. Alright, game. Alright, I'll deal with it in a second. Rebellion in the Help It, and tunnel expansion, we dig. We do dig. We do indeed. Alrighty, dig into tunnel expansion, like so, and then we'll use the rat force to grab that stuff. Then, giant pile of doggos. We won't move you. Are you reinforcing from here? Yes. Throt, I would like you to attack this, even though it'll damage you, because, well, it doesn't really matter. And auto-resolve this. Like so, and then take the money because we really need it. Like so. Then, how's the... Yeah, okay, good. It'll just spawn another rebellion next turn, which is perfectly fine by me. We might actually take a few turns to buff up our armies so that the turns aren't all the same. I would like you to jump down here to 7th circle and pop all the heroes in here, assuming that we don't need one more hero in here. Well, I did want another Packmaster, but it's kind of impossible now. Alright, I want to check what the other assassin was, too. What did I do with you? Silent Executioner. Yeah, it seems considerably worse than the Vanguard one. Alright, so I'll probably replace you with the Vanguard one, if I remember. For now, you guys pop into that army. Let's get Trab in here as well, and then Mr. Stunkritch. Alright, then... we will want to... You know what, get rid of these Skaven Slave Slinger... okay. Get rid of these Skaven Slave Slingers. I would like... Yeah, I think we'll get rid of some more Skaven Slaves here. Get rid of these guys. Disband. Then... Throt. You are going to give up these Skaven Slaves and these Skaven Slaves so that you're all clan rats now. Like so. Then you're going to go here. And just at the edge of this territory then. Throt, you are going to go into encamp and then... Or we could raid the other territory. Okay. For now, we'll grab the Hell Pit Abomination. It's relatively cheap with Throt commanding it. And... I guess we'll double up on the Rat Ogres. We can always... Huh. I didn't realize they got random augments. Oh no, the Hell Pit Abomination got the Warp Lightning Rod. Okay, well, I might recycle this one or I might not, depending. I suppose Throt's army is the least likely to be in danger from it, but it's still irritating. It's such a... because it's such a high damaging ability and it hitting our own units ain't so great. I mean, we could just use the Brute Horror for now. Well, you know what, we'll need to make room for... we need to make room for heroes, so for now, just raid this. Alrighty, like so. Alright, we're gonna take the time to build up our territory a little bit. We could upgrade you to get the control up and running here. We can always delete it afterwards, which is, yeah, a distinct possibility. This place is fine for now, and then this place. Keep upgrading those mushroom tunnels and giving us food. But at the same time, start going through, well, once we get to tier 3, we'll want to upgrade this. And then get another Packmaster capacity. More Packmasters. For everyone. Actually, you know what? Go into encamp. And heal up to max. I think it's more valuable here. Oh, you're gonna need to channel it. I forgot again. Okay, but anyway. Skip an end turn for now. Alright, Constructor. Yeah, that'll always be useful. Dig up and running, and Hell Pit Rebellion coming in. Okay, I would actually like for that rebellion to happen every turn rather than what we got going on currently. What we also need to do is, I guess, swap in... Who's getting what, incidentally? I guess we'll get Throt the Plague Priest. We can at least bless with filth and buff everybody up, and he'll get the Packmasters. So you pop in here. Like so. Swap in the 2 assassins. Swap out the 2 Skaven slaves. Yes. Alrighty, then we will keep checking the assassins until we get a replacement for one that we like better. Alright, and this army should be reasonably helpful. Are these guys fighting anybody, or are they just waiting for us to attack them? No, they're fighting Crackerdrack. And oh, is Crackerdrack here? I see your Fjordlings. No, they're up here. Crackerdrack is here. How many territories do you have? 3? So it's just these. Alright, so we can continue more or less ignoring you, at least for now. As to whether that changes, it remains to be seen. You keep collecting income and stay with the expansionist planning, but yes, we will upgrade the warren here. Lovely. And the rest of this looks good to me. Oh, minus Throt, I would like you to go into raiding stance and go here. Alright. Oh, damn it, I was gonna use the mutagen and then I promptly forgot about it. Yo. Anything nice here? Armor plus 20, easy. Easy pick. And then... let's see who else we have. Actually, would really love the armor plus 20 on these guys, but what can you do? Would like for all of the Rat Ogres to have Vanguard deployment, so let's go for... Vanguard deployment, yes, and you Vanguard deployment as well. You have... yes. There we go. So now all of you have Vanguard deployment and then some random stuff. Synaptic response stimuli will be nice as well. I wonder if we should put that on the help it, though at the same time with that warp lightning rod, it's kind of meh. You can have it then instead. And these guys do have a tendency to get pretty badly beat up, so let's do that here, and then let's do the same thing with the synaptic response stimuli and physical resistance on both of the mutant rat ogres. And then the next rat, or like, I want probably 3 mutant rat ogres maybe. Throt's the monster guy after all, so he's gotta have monsters. Anyway, the rest of you are fine. 1 more level, and then we'll get the buffs for these guys. Lovely. And the rest of this looks good to me, minus the hero swapping. We waited long enough, gotta start fighting those Slaneshi, but, well, the units had to be delivered. Admittedly, we also probably want the chieftains there as well in the, in one of the armies, but we'll deal with it. Anyway, I want to get... we have to pick one. Flesh crafting, casualty punishment, always very useful. And much as I'd like order, we are farming right now, so we'll go for the flesh crafting first. And then we'll probably go for food force as well. Alright, skip, 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 and turn. Oh, how dare you appear all the way over here? That's so rude. Oh, I guess our zones of control were preventing you from spawning there. I assume that's what happened. Anyway, we got the technology researched, and since we're about to get food, let's spend some food on getting Food Force 1. And, you know, I had suspected that it might not be costing food when we used it the previous... oh, wait, again, it might be after the turn is over, not when you immediately expend it. Well, that's usually not the way it works. Again, this version of SFO is a work in progress, so it might be that the food expenditure is not being expended. Let's see and double check it next turn. If that's the case, I'll try to, I don't know, honor system it in some way. Try to figure out when we can use those and when we cannot. But anyway, this is just a pile of Skaven slaves. Throt, I kind of didn't want to send you all the way over here, but it's fine. Let's go here. We still need to level you up after all. We'll have Mr. Skittice. Well, you need to transfer stuff anyway. Go here. Oh, that's the edge of your range. No. Go to raiding stance. There we go. She'll have a little bit of range. We'll use you to attack just because you need to level up to tier 6 or level 6, which you're almost at. Like so. Ambush, nice, auto resolve. I didn't check the wolf rats and stuff, but it looks like we're okay. Alright, and no money, or effectively no money, so we'll just grab... okay, well, we don't need the food really either, so take the money. Alright, then we killed in battle. There we go. Now, you can go back into raiding stance. And otherwise, you're fine as you are. Then, Skittice, I would like you to trade the Plague Priest and the Pack Master to Mr. Throt. I think so. And then take, I guess, the 2 clan rats. In theory, the wolf rats with poison will all be replaced, but for now, we're keeping them. Oh, actually, you only need to take 1 clan rat. You know what, take the one with spears, then we'll be at 20 out of 20. At least until we get our next pack master. Alright, then, Throt. You are going to go this way. Or, wait, how many territories do you have? You have 3. You can't see Croc or Ravensfuck ourselves, but it might be a good place to start. Well... it is vulnerable to attack from more directions than Help It, which is a lot safer, generally speaking. So maybe, yeah, Slaanesh is probably the better option. Alright, fine. Throt, you are indeed going this way.
Bifurcate
I think we'll actually put the brood horrors from this into this army, because eventually the night runners will become gutter runners, and we'll combine that with a little bit of poison from the brood horrors. Gotta get them somewhere after all. Anyway, you guys stay here, and you're here as well. So we'll see where that thing spawns next turn. And then we'll leave these two here while Throt moves by himself towards the third circle, and then hopefully we can jump over to first circle and begin construction of the siege equipment here with these guys while Throt goes through second circle. Although, admittedly, this means that he won't have any reinforcements with him. Yeah, but it is what it is. We'll just have to deal. I mean, I guess we can... Wait, can we recruit any more Skaven slaves? Yes, we can. Oh, okay, you know what? Minus 38. You can... I was hoping that you could recruit here. You know what? You could suffer a little bit of attrition. Just recruit piles of Skaven slaves. Spam spears. And there we go. You can maybe follow Throt after. Oh, lovely, and at least this way, these guys are getting the bonus armor as well. We've spent our mutagen, we've done the important stuff. You are good in terms of public order. We will upgrade this eventually, but only when our money is fixed. This will make us more money because it's not enough for us to care about. And fourth circle, yes, we will want to start building the breeding stock, because we'll want those everywhere. It is hell pit after all. Eventually, we'll probably replace the mushroom tunnels in this place as well, but for now, I want the food kept at max so that we have maximum growth and buffs and all that. And everything else is fine. Alright, skip, 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 and turn. Alright, and by the looks of it, our food did indeed not drop. So I think what this means is I'll try to do, once again, an honor system sort of thing. Hey, we did get the Talisman Preservation, though. An honor system sort of thing where I'll try to roughly keep track of the sort of surplus food that we have so that I don't accidentally misuse this thing. Yeah. Alright, so basically to get, I don't know, the next one, 50, we'll just need to get a quote-unquote surplus, so just repeatedly do that. Let's get Slave Force 2, though, get more Rat Force, and we'll start... Oh, actually, get one of these. Fight Dirty. Let's go for Fight Dirty. Is there something critical here? I do like the numbers beyond counting for Skaven slaves, but yeah, we'll do this for now. Because we want hit and run as fast as possible. It's the benefit of getting these one-turn techs even before you have any replenishment to rely, or any tech thievery to rely on. Anyway, you've reached level 6, meaning we now have Expert Ambusher, giving us ambush success chance, but most importantly, concealment bombs for Knight and Gutter Runners, Shuriken Jutsu for all of them as well, missile strength, and 1 point short of crackle bombs, but that's fine. You are then going to go here, and you are going to go here. Oh. Is Throt in the way? Are you not able to reinforce? Might not be able to reinforce. Alright, you attack then, and then Throt will reinforce. At least this way everybody gets to play. On a resolve. Huh! They started at rank 4. Interesting. Wonder why that is. Anyway, let's do food. Yes, we don't actually get any, but like I said, we want a fake surplus. Anyway, now, Throt, you can move this way. You will stay here and deal with the rebellions. And what do we have in this army? It's a lot of demon gnats. High damage dealing. They're going to be a problem without additional summons. You can deal with the rebellions yourself just fine, so I think you can start moving. Do you need to recruit anymore? You can at least max your army out with more Skaven slave spam. Oh, you actually have a clan rat as well, which is fine. Right, take the turn to build a few more melee Skaven slaves that we can just send in, and then you'll follow Throt in a second. Lovely. Otherwise, we're good to go, and I'd like to end the episode soon, but I would like to do at least one more fight before we do. This increases our food capacity by 1 as well, and generates some money, but because we're raiding our own territory, it's not actually generating anything, so that's, well, it is what it is. Anyway, we'll save the rest of our cash, we'll skip the rest of this, we'll end the turn. Ha! The Slaaneshi knew what was coming, and they will declare war on us. Good for them, good for them. Alright, Rebellion, great. Fight Dirty, also great when we... I was hoping we could get hit and run in 1 turn, but that's alright as soon as we grab another... Okay, now we're waiting on the food, so we're not going to do that. We could start on Undercity. And we do want that up and running fast, but no, I think nonetheless we're going to go for a hit and run. It also means reinforcements coming in faster, which is a good thing. Your recruit rank, I was hoping it was capacity, but alas it is not. Alright, well it is what it is then. We'll ignore this. Alright, now, just out of curiosity, do we still have... Yes, the Deathbringer one. That's the one we wanted. Alright, you're going into Throt's army immediately, and now we have both aura effects. I would also like to see... We have... Daggers in the Dark, Fleet of Tail. Okay, no, not the ones I wanted. Alright, fair enough. Now, you probably can't fight both of those guys at third circle plus the garrison, because it's a lot of damage coming in. At least without the reinforcing armies. So, we're going to have you kill this, but you will not reinforce. You will move past it to reinforce Throt. So go here. Well, actually, you can reinforce. I don't actually care. In camp stance, go. And auto-resolve this for obvious reasons. Lovely, and then take the money this time, I think. I forgot to check how much food that gave us. But we can go for the next food thing. Anyway, you are going to go here. And raid it again. Lovely, and then Skitice, so you will go into... You know what, go into March stance. And Throt, go right here in ambush stance. We might suffer attrition, but it also might be worth it. You can go for Inspiring Presence. It's also level up and item up as well. You can have the Talisman of Preservation. You already have the Obsidian Blade. Armor of Silvered Steel. That should go on Assassins, I think, because they have no armor. Oh, actually, you have no armor either. Alright, have an Armor of Silvered Steel as well. Ranger's Axe. Not useful to any of these guys, but it is useful to you, so let's Ranger's Axe you up. A little bit of extra range damage. Opal Amulet on... maybe the Chieftain? Let's use it, there's only one of him. Oh, he's using the Rival Hide Talisman. Alright, fine, you know what, put it on the Plague Priest. Eventually he'll be on that Plague Furnace. Opal Amulet, and then you can have Pestilent Breath. Lovely. Packmaster, you're at rank 2, so you don't provide too much value for now, but let's get that tail weapon, and then you other Packmaster, I know you're a chieftain, you other Packmaster can have Tide of Pox, Tide of Death, Master Moulder, and Keratin Stick. And nothing else provides us damaging benefits, so Scavenge, getting closer to that rank 14 though. Throt, actually one level lower. 7 points. Soon. Maybe the Slaneshi will give this to us. Alright, is there anything else that we need to do here? We have no free mutagen, and you're good to go. You're waiting to move on in. I guess we end the turn. We hope that these guys attack us, and even if they don't, we'll attack them next turn. Skip, 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 and go. Hey, the ambush may have failed, but, well, we still got a fight ahead. Valiant defeat, casualties high, but ain't they always? I guess we could get a couple of menace belows just in case. I don't want to overuse the food, but we'll see. Anyway, this should be an epic fight, and I'm excited about it, and this is why I didn't want to end the episode. Go!
Warpstone commands!
Alrighty, here we go. We fought Nurglites, we fought Cornates, and now it's time to fight the Slaneshi as well. And our army has been modified pretty heavily for this fight, which I'm sure we will need, as it's a pretty big old pile of Slaneshi. And with their capabilities of quickly mincing infantry, and our infantry being extremely fragile and susceptible to being minced, I'm sure that they can rack up a heck of a kill count. At least I'm sure that's what they think. We do have our additional rat ogres on field now, and our very first Hell Pit Abomination. It's so nice to get one of these things early, as otherwise it takes a really, really long time to get to them, so I'm pretty darn happy about the ability to get one on field for Clan Moulder, and the fact that though they're pretty ludicrously expensive, we get one on field at pretty cheap with Mr. Throt. And man, these things are such a horrifying monstrosity. You gotta love them. And that's why the demons will lose. We can make more horrifying creatures than they can. Anyway, unfortunately for the Slaaneshi, we have a vastly superior position. Over on this side of the map, we have a, I don't know, lava canyon something. I don't know what to call this thing, but anyway, lots of impassable terrain to our left flank. In fact, all the way away. Yeah, I don't think they're getting through that anywhere. But anyway, there's a little bit here, but there's woods over on the other side as well. So even if the enemy should choose to send its fast movers over on this side, we can simply bog them down with piles of clan rats and Skaven slaves and wolf rats. So that's that. Anyway, the enemy will begin to charge in. The demonettes close the distance with the Skaven slave spears. Oh, look at that HP drop. That's a single unit of demonettes, and they'll tear through 30% of their HP. The unit is shaken and frightened, which is, I mean, I would imagine that Skaven slaves probably live in a shaken and frightened state at pretty much all times. And being the lowest Skaven caste after all, they're pretty susceptible to being eaten, experimented on, thrown into the line as cannon fodder, etc., etc. Alright, well, all they can do is hope to survive, and maybe some of them will earn the right to become clan rats. Anyway, the Hellpit Abomination will head off the enemy units of Forsaken, while our regular Skaven slaves have no hope of damaging Forsaken due to their heavy armor. The Hellpit Abomination can certainly anchor the line and dish out a little bit of hurt. The Demonettes, though they are, let's see, yeah. Their melee defense is actually fairly solid at 47, but they are completely unarmored, and even the Skaven slaves should be able to dish out some damage to them. Over all the way on the right flank is where we have concentrated our piles of doggos, or wolf rats, led by one unit of rat ogres, and they are surrounding and destroying some Hellstriders of Slaanesh. One is nearly done, and the second will be chased after and destroyed, and with the rest of the wolf rats. There is 2 more units of wolf rats here than there would otherwise be, as they have been summoned by the Packmaster, and that's exactly why we'll want somewhere between 2 and 4 Packmasters in this particular army, serving to summon all those additional wolf rats. Especially since we'll want basic units in the army as well, and that's certainly a way to get them, and it always feels weird if if Skaven generally don't have a giant pile of units to draw upon. Getting a nice little pestilent breath through the enemy army, but over on this side, the enemy has 3 units of Forsaken concentrated, and we can see that the pestilent breath did nearly no damage to them, and due to their heavy armor. The Hellpit Abomination hits them with a warp lightning, though it has taken about 30% of its HP in damage, which admittedly is pretty good. What's not so pretty good, at least for the enemies at this point, I believe both of their lords have been defeated. They were kind of hard to spot in the piles of demonettes there somewhere, the Heralds of Slaanesh. But rest assured that they were torn to shreds by the 2 mutant rat ogres, who seem pretty happy about the prospect. And it looks like most of the demonic units are out, and in fact it looks like most of the enemy army is done for. Only these 2 demonettes still fighting over on the right flank. Taking some time to work our way through them, considering we mostly have Skaven slaves and some wolf rats over on this side. But at the end of the day, they will begin to melt away as the enemy Forsaken and Marauders start running. Thanks to the terrain, we were able to completely neuter this particular enemy army, as it was unable to take any advantage or use the sort of skills or best aspects of Slaaneshi hosts to their advantage. But yeah, especially against the AI, when they play Slaanesh, the terrain makes such a big difference. In a big, wide-open field, it would have been a considerably more difficult battle, but hey, General Throt is supposed to hopefully be smart enough to make some use of the terrain. If the, I don't know, if the hunger wasn't bothering him too much. Anyway, the enemy will run and we will run them down. One thing this army will always probably be pretty darn good at is making sure very, very few units, even fast-moving Slaaneshi units, escape. Lovely. And we got to see a little bit more variety as we keep climbing our way out of the hell pit with the foes that we face. Alrighty, there we go, no problem. Poor Slaaneshi got screwed over by the terrain in which they could not take advantage of their fast movers and get around our flanks. We got 25 food as a reward, and considering the other battles that we fought, I think we're free to get that 50 food cost thing now. Lovely. We will take the 2.9k money because we've been looking to get it back. Throt is up to level 11, not quite 12, but getting closer to it now. Solid work out of more Skitar's Hellion and the other mutant Rad Ogre. Surprisingly, they're keeping pace or out damaging the Hellpit Abomination, and that's Hellpit Abomination with the Warp Lightning Rod, but nonetheless, a decent work out of the Doggos and the Rat Ogres as well. Lovely. And of course, the enemy, cut through 1,300 of the 1,300 Skaven slaves, but you know what? That's 1,300. That sounds like a sign from the Horned Rat being the holy number, so call them a sacrifice to the Rat God. Rats for the Rat God, I guess. Anyway, sell off, yes. Alright, new growth bat batch available. Sorry about the spoonerisms. I'm not drunk, I swear. Only on, I don't know, bat juice, warpstone, something. Anyway, ooh, hello. Ooh, this is this Throt's main quest? Creature killer? Plus free 20 food as well. Nice. I just want to double check. Quests? Yes, it is creature killer. Control +1 and research raid, eh? It looks like his items are kind of, to be perfectly honest. I don't really care about the leadership. Ooh, charge bonus for Skaven slaves. Granted, he'll probably use some Skaven slaves as we will be transferring these clan rats to most likely this guy after a while. But for now. Anyway, enemy killed and then create quest issued. Yeah, I guess I should have built the Warlock Engineer building, but we can build one here and still build a Warlock Engineer. So, yeah. Costly though it may be, we still need one. And that hasn't changed. Next, we will actually go off of hit and run, and then instead go for... I believe I said... Oh, wait, this is 100? Okay, we wouldn't be able to afford that, even if we... Yeah, because we got 25 food and then like 2 or 3 battles from the additional food for that, so we can do tunnel expansion, I guess. Ooh, income from raising settlements, that's going to come in real handy very soon, and we'll want to actually make use of that when we combine that with beginning to take the newly constructed territories. So, yes, that's what we'll do. So we'll build this, it'll cost us 50, and then I wanted to do that before we actually attacked, so you can kill this now, like so, and then take the money this time. Already got the food from the battle, and go back into raiding, and then it'll rebel again, and then just keep doing this and leveling this army up. Lovely. Enemy killed in battle. You will proceed to join Throt's army eventually, but for now, Skitais and Throt... Oh, he might be so badly... Oh, wow, what the heck? This takes, like, all of your movement, doesn't it? Can Throt actually deal with this? I think we can, it's just that we need to auto-resolve it. Alright, well, either way, then, you can march stance. Frankly, we don't really care if all of the Skaven slaves die, that hardly matters. Then... Can you go into regular stance? No, not enough. Alright, fine. Throt, attack this. And auto-resolve. And let's see... I think that did some damage. I'm not entirely sure how damaged we were compared to how much damage we took. Anyway, we'll want to hopefully auto-resolve again, so we'll eat the captives this time. And then we'll proceed on towards... Oh, we can't reach third circle, meaning we'll have to suffer a turn of attrition here. Darn. Well, that's unfortunate. Oh. Well. What can you do? I assumed that we'd be able to reach it, but it is what it is. On the bright side, though, that'll mean that you can pop into Throt's army next turn. Actually, this Packmaster is severely damaged now, and I'd like you to not take the attrition damage, so you can pop out of this army for this particular turn. And then we'll attack this after next turn. Anyway, we fought the major Slaaneshi battle, and I think this is probably the best place to call the episode here, so that's what I'm going to do. Next time, we wipe out the Slaaneshi for good, since they probably won't be able to recover, and then we figure out where we go next, whether we push towards Krakar Ravensfuck, whether we attack the Goromadni tribe to grab these mountains and link up with whatever Skaven are here. There's lots of places to be. I still kind of like the idea of leaving Sartoriel alone for now, though eventually he's going to be an annoyance and we will have to wipe him out. He can keep fighting with Kislev, and then this prevents us essentially from overextending, at least for now. But who knows, just because I think that now doesn't mean I'll still think that by next episode. Anyway, calling it here, more Throts to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.